Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. And welcome on in, everybody, to Titan Field House, Columbus High School, Columbus, Kansas, the site of the home return to the 2022-2023 Titan basketball season, as this game's going to be a good one, I think, especially between the girls' teams, as this St. Paul squad is going to be coming into this one's 3-3. The Titans 2-4, coming off of a loss on Friday night, 57-27 to the Girard Trojans. Finally back at home after a eventful, we'll call it, game against Girard. Kind of looked good in the first half, and then things really fell apart in the second, which is really not at all what you want to see. But hopefully tonight, Titans can get the ball rolling a little bit more against these Indians. They've had losses to, well, let's find out. They've taken a loss to, if Max Preps will load. Once again, Max Prep's never the most reliable source for anything related to scoring, and of course the internet's going to be slow. But they've taken losses to Girard, Colgan, and Olpe. So they've got 3 losses on the year, but have won against teams that we haven't, such as Girard. And so hopefully the Titans can get the ball rolling here tonight in this girls' game. I think it should be an action-packed one. We've got a lot of fun things planned here tonight. And, of course, we're going to recap the games that we have missed kind of talking about, especially on Friday night when we didn't have audio. We'll kind of recap that one for anybody that needs to know about it. We'd like to let you know that Columbus Sports Live is presented by Mercy of Columbus. You don't need to travel for quality, compassionate care with Mercy of Columbus right around the corner. They're local, they're reliable, and that's Mercy of Columbus. You can learn more at mercy.net. When we come back, we don't have stats from last week, but we're going to try to recap the girls' game a little bit, kind of see what happened. Also, Titan player is missing tonight from the starting 5, so we'll talk about that, get the starting lineups, and look at some matchups from around the area. All that and more. We'll be back here in 2 minutes to Columbus High School on Columbus Sports Live. All right, everybody, welcome back out here as we kick off the Vital Signs pregame show on Columbus Sports Live. The Titans' execution is vital to their success, and at Vital Signs, they know how important execution is. That's why they help you through the entire process from design to installation. You can follow them at facebook.com/Vital Signs Sign Company. This team took on the Girard Trojans on a Friday night at Ted R. Taylor Gymnasium, and a game that didn't really seem promising at the start. You know, the Trojans are always good, and they're always big. They're always tough to defend, and we couldn't defend them, and they had a good time defending us. So only held to 27 points on the night, 57-27, the final score of that one. Trojans kind of pulled away late in the fourth quarter, couldn't get things going on the Titans side of things. We looked pretty good in the first half. We were hitting some buckets when we needed to, and we stayed within winning distance of that game. But it seems like throughout the season, the story of this has been a great first half, come out, and it's almost like we've lost motivation. It's almost like two different teams are playing on the court every night. And in a team like Girard or a team like St. Paul, you're not going to get the job done if you are struggling with motivation or even ability in the second half. And St. Paul's taken on some pretty tough teams, and they beat them. You know, they beat Girard. They beat, well, maybe they took a loss to Girard, actually. Yeah, they did take a loss to Girard, but they did beat Galena. And so Galena's another one of those tough teams. They're having a bit of a slower year this year, but it just kind of goes to show that these Indians are not to be messed with. So you can't fall asleep on them. You've got to be diligent. And you've got to be able to stand your ground. So hopefully the Titans can get things rolling here tonight and make a pretty good game out of this. Like we said, second half always seems to be the rough spot. So hopefully Titans have worked on a bit this week, and hopefully they'll be able to come out with a win tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at some matchups going on around the area tonight. The Galena Bulldogs on Galena Sports Live will be traveling to Colgan High School, taking on the Panthers there. I would say a pretty good one. The boys of Colgan are coming off of a loss to Baxter Springs, and the Galena boys are 7-0, coming off of a win against the Frontenac Raiders, and the Colgan girls 7-0, and the Galena girls coming off of a loss to Frontenac as well. So a big one there from Colgan High School. The Girard Trojans will be back at Ted R. Taylor Gymnasium taking on the Riverton Rams. I'm pretty sure the Rams had a 2-point. It was a 2-point game, and the Lady Rams won it against Caney Valley, and I'm pretty sure the boys won that one by a decent margin. I'm not sure the exact score, but hopefully we'll have it for you. Anyway, we're going to take another break and come back, and we're going to bring you the starting lineups of this one and get this one underway from Titan Fieldhouse. We'll be back in here in 3 minutes on Columbus Sports Live. Welcome back out here to Titan Fieldhouse, Columbus, Kansas tonight as the Columbus Titans are 1 minute, 33 seconds away from the tip of the girls' game against the St. Paul Indians. Go ahead and get you the starting lineups for the Indians tonight. They'll be starting number 10, Kenna Doherty, a senior. Number 21, a senior, Sophia Albertini. A senior, number 22, Josie Harris. Senior, number 23, Chloe Simi. I'm probably not pronouncing that one right. And senior, number 32, Ava Chambers. And for the Titans tonight, we do have a change in lineup for the first time this season, as the start will go to Katie Mooney. Briley Johnson, number 3, sophomore Katie Mooney as well. Freshman Ellie Helms, number 5. Junior Ava Harmon, number 12, and junior, number 25, Macy Allison. Macy Allison coming in for the place of senior Maddie Bergen, who's not here. Or, well, she is here, but she's not going to be playing. She has a leg brace on, and it doesn't look like she will be playing. So,
the number 10, Kenna Doherty.
We'll see how this one goes. But hoping for positive things coming out of this one, as the Titans desperately need a win. They're 2-4 on the season, and they've got some pretty big opponents coming up. They should win on Friday night, as the Titans will be at home once again, taking on Baxter Springs. But then they've got Galena, Frontenac, and once again Riverton on the 31st. But before all those, except for Baxter, we've got the Lancer Classic Tournament, and they have to do well there. Head coach for the God, the PA announcer is really loud in my ear. Head coach for the St. Paul Indians is Kalia Augustine, assisted by Mark Height.
Number 12, Ava. And at forward, number 25.
Head coach for the Columbus Titans is Matt Lee, assisted by Ty Sills.
Assistant coach is Ty Sills.
God, the PA announcer is super loud in my ear. Man, I'm hoping he's not affecting with our sound. I still don't know what our sound problems are. We're using a different sound system that I worked on over the weekend, and I still can't figure out why you can't hear commercials. Couldn't hear me last week, now you can't hear commercials. Two sound systems that have opposite problems. It's crazy. I think I'm just going to bite the bullet one of these days and just buy a new one. But then, of course, that one's going to have problems that are completely unrelated to everything else. Titans dressed out in their home whites, red letters and numeral. St. Paul Indians in their maroon road jerseys with yellow letters and numerals. Tip is controlled by the Titans, and number 10, who was that? Doherty loses it off the tip. Titans get it as Mooney gets it off to Helms. And first bucket is up and in. First bucket of the night goes to Ellie Helms, as here's number 21, Sophia Albertini, looking for someplace to go. Gets it over to Harris. And that's Seam with it now. I'm assuming that's the name. And that's Ava Chambers. She tried to little teardrop in the lane, and
foul on one of number 20.
Macy Allison will get called for that foul.
To the line for the Indians to shoot 2 shots will be number 32, Ava Chambers.
First shot's off the backboard and up and in. First bucket of the night for the Indians. Second one up, bounces off, no good. Mooney comes up with the rebound. She'll dribble it across. Got some kind of brace on her wrist. She did hurt her hand during the Girard game, right near the end stretch of it, so hoping for the best for her. There's Helms with it, gets it back out to Johnson. Johnson floats it up near the corner. Shot no good. Ball will go out of bounds. Last touch by an Indian, and alternating possession will stay with the Titans. Here's Johnson. She gets it over to Harmon off the inbound. Looking for some place to put it. Throws it up in the air. Shot no good. She gets her own rebound. Shots up, no good. And Doherty comes down with the rebound. Flips it over to Albertini. Flips it back to Seam. Underneath the basket for Doherty, and her shot's up and good.
Doherty for two.
Indians take a early 3-2 lead here. 6:31 left to go. Opening quarter. There's Mooney. Back over to Johnson. And a foul called.
Foul on St. Paul, number 22, Joseph Harris. That's her first, team first.
Josie Harris will be called with the foul. Not a shooting situation. Johnson inbounds it. Here's Helms with it now, and she traveled. The ball will go back to the Indians off the travel as Doherty is set to inbound it to Albertini. Albertini will bring it across. Gets it over to Seam. Nearly picked out of there by Mooney. Albertini with it now in the corner. And ball goes out of bounds. Kind of poked away there. It'll stay with the Indians. Albertini inbounds it again from the left corner, and Mooney steals the ball. Headed up the court super fast. Takes off, and a foul called. Shot is no good. But Mooney will go to the free throw line. And wow, there's some kids banging on the rail, and it's
for 23.
We got the crowd mic on, and even if you can't hear it, but it is loud in my ear.
2 shots, the number 2, Mooney.
And they're going to call that foul on Seam. Mooney's first shot up and good. Second one bounces out. The ball goes out of bounds off the rebound. Ball will go back to the Titans. Indians a little out of sorts here early on in this one as Harmon gets it over to Helms. Backs out a little, back over to Johnson now with Helms. She dribbles around the 25-foot mark. Gets it over to Allison in the corner. Back to Helms. And a holding foul. They're going to get that one on.
Fouls on St. Paul, number 22,
Harris. Her second.
That's her second. Team third.
Team's third. Harris with 2 quick ones in the early part of this one. And number 11, Georgia Harris, will check in for
number 11.
The Indians. As I'm not sure if Glenn over at the PA table was afraid to pronounce that one. I guess a quick foul as I was trying to figure out the name on Macy Allison, her second.
Taking in for the Titans will be
Team second. She's got all the fouls in this first quarter here. As Albertini brings it up off the pass from Doherty off the inbound. Gets it over to Harris. Inside the lane for Seam, and a blocking foul. And that one's going to go on Grace Major as she checks into the ball game. Her first.
Grace Major. That's her first. Team third.
You know, she's not on the roster, so I completely forgot to write her down. There's Harris with it now. Corner three, shot no good. Major comes down with the rebound on the other side of the basket. Kind of sneaks the pass to Helms through there. There's Johnson with it, and her shot's up and good.
Johnson for 2.
2 points for Briley Johnson, 5-3. Titans with a 2-point lead early on in this one. Doherty with the ball, gets it back over to Albertini in the corner. Long pass across to Chambers. And that's Thiem with it now. Flips it over to Harris. Long pass once again for Albertini. Her three no good. Harris with the rebound, loses it, and lands in the hands of Katie Mooney. She nearly got it stripped. She'll back it out and reset. Flip it over to Major. Major going to stand top of the key, looking for a place to go. Gets it over to Johnson. Nearly loses it. Back to Major off the pass. Titans kind of playing it slow here, not really trying to rush anything. Oh, and I've completely screwed up our scoreboard camera here, folks. I apologize, but it was a little out of sort.
Jump ball on the floor. Possession arrow favors the Titans.
Well, you know what? We'll get it fixed off the break. I assume a jump ball was called. Possession arrow. We'll go back to the Titans as Helms gets it over to Johnson. We'll back it out now over to Major, top of the key. There's the three. Shot no good. And that was Chambers that came down with the rebound. That's Seam with it now.
Fouls on Columbus, number 2.
Foul called. That will go on Grace Major. She's got 2 already.
Team 4.
Alternating possession will stay with the Indians. That was Albertini. Checks it into Harris. Going to reset. Gets it over to... That was Chambers, and she lost it out of bounds, and ball will go back to the Titans. Harmon set to inbound it. That's Helms with it. Near the logo on the floor. Flips it over to Johnson on the left wing. Back over to Major. In the corner for Helms. Trying to find somewhere to go. Tried to go baseline, but couldn't. Flips it over to Major. And that pass stolen by Harris, and she loses it out of bounds. Oh, no. And that knocked that pass knocked out the popcorn in a kid's hands. That's unfortunate. If that was me, I wouldn't be too happy about it. So I can understand why the little guy is upset. As Helms will bring it back up. One thing you never want to do, lose the ball, but especially if you knock some popcorn out of a kid's hands. Here's Major for 3. Rolls off the rim, and Harris comes down with the rebound. Helms on top of her, and she picks it off. Going to slow things down a little bit. She'll just try a 3, left wing. Shot no good. Albertini underneath the basket. Looking for some place to get it. Flipped it over to Seam, and a foul called
Columbus, number 0.
on Katie Mooney.
That's
her
their first. Team 5th.
Team's 5th here in the first quarter. As I believe that's Seam looking to inbound it. She does. Gets it over to Albertini. Albertini fakes the 3, gets it over to Doherty. Back over to Seam. Seam left wing will drive in, gets it out to Albertini, and that pass goes nowhere. Katie Mooney comes up with it before it goes out of bounds. Flips it over to Helms. There's Johnson with it now. Helms with it. Near the half-court line. Going to slow things down a little bit. 1:48 to go. Fix the scoreboard camera here in a second. Gets it over to Mooney. Really took out of there by Harris. She's been a strong defensive player tonight. Mooney will drive into the lane. Shots up and good. He's got 3 on the night.
And we have a timeout on the floor, called by the Titans.
And Coach Lead will take a timeout. We're going to try to get our scoreboard camera fixed here. We'll be back to Columbus High School in 30 seconds. Well, I said we'd fix the scoreboard, but I don't exactly have the time right now. So we'll get it fixed during halftime for sure. Here's Harmon with it now.
Fouls on Columbus, number 12, Ava Harmon.
Calling away from the ball foul on Ava Harmon, her first team sixth. Ball will go back to the Indians as number 20, Winter, checks into the ball game. I'll find her full name for you. Maggie Winter. As here's Harris with it now. She'll drive in the lane. Shots up and good.
Harris for 2.
Her first bucket of the ball game. Helms comes down with it 7-5. 1 minute 09 to go. She'll drive into the lane. Her shot is no good. She will be fouled. And Helms will go to the line shooting 2.
Point, Maggie Winter.
As Winter checks into the ball game, she picks up her first foul.
Let's shoot 2 shots. Be number 5, Ellie Helms.
Shot rolls off. No good. There we go. Now the scoreboard looks halfway decent. That's always good. We're going to make a sign on this railing that says no kids allowed. Or maybe I'm just going to put a massive barrier wall here. And St. Paul loses it out of bounds. No, apparently they're going to call another foul on Grace Major, her third already. And I don't understand what happened there, but yeah, they're going to need to sub somebody in. Okay, well, apparently now Bergen is going to play tonight with a injury.
For the Titans, be number 14, Maddie Bergen.
And she's number 14, so I guess they didn't want to put her in as part of the original starting lineup, but Grace Major is going to have to come out of the game. 3 fouls in the first quarter is not a hot start. And bounces off. Still 8-5. 3-point lead for the Titans. Here's Helms. Gets it into Johnson. Back out to Harmon. Right wing 3. No good. And that rebound lands in the hands of Winter. She brings it, or no, that's Albertini with it now. Gets it over to Harris, right wing. Going to slow things down a little bit. Look for a place to go. Couldn't find one. She'll drive out, get it over to Albertini once again. Now back to Harris. That 3, what I believe from Albertini's no good. Ball will go out of bounds. Possession arrow will still stay with the Indians. Yeah, I'll get that clock scoreboard fixed, folks. I apologize. The shaking of the camera, one little move, and it's going to go away. Backcourt inbounds there to Harris. Ball goes backcourt. Albertini will fake the 3. She'll drive in the lane. A little teardrop, no good. Harmon comes down with it, flips it over to Helms. She'll bring it across. Down to 10 here in the first quarter. Mooney tries a 3, no good. Johnson underneath the basket for the rebound. Her putback's up and good. 4 points for Briley Johnson. And that'll end the quarter here. Titans lead 10-5 at the end of 1. Good one here from Titan Fieldhouse. We'll be back here to Columbus in 1 minute.
Programs.
Welcome back to Titan Fieldhouse here. 10-5 the score. Titans lead it by 5 here against the St. Paul Indians, hoping the scoreboard will look a little bit better. Like we said, the way it's cropped, I absolutely love this design, the fact that we don't have to worry about updating it. I think it's great, but the only one problem is one little nudge of that camera and that thing's gone. So Just got to be careful not to touch it. In fact, I think I'm going to start putting it on the floor. And that ball was tipped out of bounds by Mooney. It'll stay with the Indians as Albertini gets it over to Seam, I believe. Yep. There's the long pass across to Harris. That's Seam with it now. She drives in the lane, stolen away, and Helms comes out of there with it. She'll try the long two, and she gets it to go. A little inside the left wing, too, and little floater got it to go. Here's Seam with it now off the pass from Albertini. Long pass across court to Doherty. Now gets it over to Harris. Back to Seam. Back to Harris. Her teardrop in the lane's up and good.
Harris for 10.
12-7. Still a 5-point difference here from Columbus High School. Here's Helms in the lane. Has it stolen away, and ball will go out of bounds. Off a Indian, and it will stay with the Titans. Here's Johnson with it. That pass nearly tipped away. Looked like Ava Harmon knocked it out of bounds. The ball will still stay with the Titans, though. So went off of a Indian hand or foot as Mooney is set to inbound it from the left corner. Here's Johnson with it now. Over to Helm. She'll take it near the 25-foot line. It's it back over to Mooney. Mooney fakes the three. She drives in, and she traveled. So ball will go back to the Indians as Harris gets it over to Albertini, and she'll bring it across. Turns it up over to Doherty. Driving near the top of the key, gets it over. Good pass to Harris. She'll try an odd shot, goes off the backboard, and the rebound no good. And Allison comes down with it under the board. Here's Helms with it now, gets it over to Mooney. She tries, or no, she kind of faked the three there, got the pass into Allison, and her shot under the basket was no good. As Albertini looks to reset, bring it across. Try to get something going on offense for the Indians. That was Doherty. She flips it over to, I'm not sure who that was. Albertini with it now. Gets it inside to Seam. Titans on defense, and Mooney trying to strip it away. And a jump ball is called.
Jump ball on the floor. Possession error
will favor the Titans. Here's Mooney with it now. She'll bring it up. Looking for a place to put it. Gets it over to Harmon. And that pass nearly tipped out of there, but Mooney grabs it. It was either a transition pass or was tipped out of there on a blocking foul called.
Foul on second foul, number 23, Chloe Seaming.
Now we'll go against Seam.
That's her second team.
So I guess I was right because we're saying it pretty similarly.
Making him for St. Paul, number 11, Georgia.
It's Helms with it now. Gets it inside. A little floater pass to Macy Allison. Her shot's no good, but she is fouled. She'll take her shot at the line.
Foul on St. Paul, number 32, Ava Chambers. That's her first.
On Ava Chambers. That's her first.
First, team 6. And to the line for the
First
Titans.
shot for Allison. No good. Second one bounces out. Harmon grabs the rebound. Shot no good. Johnson grabs that one, kind of just throws it up, and Albertini comes down with that board. She drives into the lane. Her shot's up and good, and the foul.
Foul on Columbus.
Albertini with her first 2 points in the ball game, and that one will go against Ava Harmon.
And team 8.
Her second foul, team 8.
The number 21, Sophia Albertini.
Getting ready to check in for the Titans will be number 2, Grace Major, and the and one for Albertini, no good. But the putback by Doherty is
Morgan Fertility.
Here's Helms with it. She'll drive in. Shot no good. And Albertini comes down with the rebound. It's now a 1-point ball game. Here's Harris with it. And her shot's up and good. And Indians take the lead. She has 4 in the second quarter. There's Mooney with it now off the pass from Helms. She'll drive in. Shot's good and foul. There you go. Finally get something cooking. So Titans will retake the lead and also add a few to it.
That's her first P7. Checking in for the Lady Titans will be number 2, Grace Major. And to the line to shoot one shot, the number 0, Katie Mooney.
And Mooney gets the and one. Completes the 3-point play as Albertini will bring it across here for the Indians. Quick pass underneath to Harris. Nice move there. It's up and good. And Harris has to tick. They got a container. It's tied up.
There'll be a 30-second.
Another 30-second timeout called by Coach Lee. It's tied up here with 4:15 to go in this one. We'll be back to Columbus High School in 30 seconds. Welcome back out here to Columbus High School. All tied up here in this one. 4:14 left to go until the half. It's 4:15 when I said that, but that's not the point. Helms will get it over to Mooney. Back now over to Helms. Gets it inside to Johnson. And that pass tipped away and stolen by Albertini. She'll bring it across. Major now back in the ball game. Here's the 3-point attempt from Harris. No good. Johnson comes down with the rebound. Flips it over to Helms. Got to get something going on offense here as Mooney will drive baseline. Puts it up. And it's good. Anticipation. Well, anticipation shot there from Katie Mooney as that's Albertini. She'll bring it across now. Flips it over to Harris. And Major stole it away. And they're going to foul Major.
Number 11, Georgia Harris. That's her second teammate. And checking in for St. Paul, the number 20, Maggie Winter. And to the line for the Lady Titans to shoot for 101 will be number 2, Grace Major.
I'm not sure if Major made the shot or not. I was a bit distracted adding up point totals. I'm going to assume she made both of them since it's now 17. Or maybe she didn't. I'm not sure.
Fouls on St. Paul, number 21.
You know what? I'll go back and rewatch it. Helms now will go to the line. Sophia Albertini with the foul.
Number 5, Ellie Helm.
Yeah, we're going to have to put a table right next to this yellow bench to keep this place from turning into a daycare here. I've got just a ton of kids all around me. Here's Doherty with it now. There's the 3 from Harris. Off the mark, no good. As Mooney will check it into Helms. Gets it over to Major now. She'll bring it across. Takes off, flips it over to Allison as she's being guarded there. Albertini stole it. I'm not sure what he's. I'm not sure. I guess they're going to call him foul on Ellie Helms, the first. I didn't know if they were going to call it on her or not. I wasn't entirely sure, but Albertini will go to the line. First one up and good.
21. So, yeah, Albertini.
3 points for her so far in this one. That one rims out. Mooney comes down with the rebound. A 1-point ball game, 17-16. Mooney gets it over to Major now. Back over to Helms. Now over to Mooney. She tries the three and swishes it. Right wing three for Mooney goes in. Swished in, but nothing but net there. And that's Harris with it now, and a foul called. They're going to get that one on Helms.
Number 5, Ellie Helms. That's her.
Quick 2 for her. And Harris will go to the line.
The bonus will be number 22.
She'll shoot the bonus.
Harris.
And second one bounces off, no good. 0 of 2 from the line.
This time like basketball. The girls make basketball.
There's Helms with it now. Now throws a shot up and a blocking foul. And Helms will take her turn at the line.
Time to get lined up.
That foul's going to be on Doherty, her first. Both teams with 10 fouls here in the double bonus.
That foul was on number 10, Kenna Doherty. That's her first team 10.
First shot is
at the line
up and good.
Shoot 2 shots would be number 5, Ellie Helms.
And she swishes both of them.
Helms goes 2 for 2 from the line.
She's got 4 in the second quarter, extends this Titan lead 22-16. That was Albertini who passed it off to Harris. She drives in the lane. Shot no good. The rebound by Doherty. Put back is up and good. 4 points in the second quarter for Doherty. And here's Helms with it. She'll take it across. Drives in the lane. Shot no good. Nobody under there except maroon jerseys for the rebound. Doherty checks it over to Albertini. Now Harris with the ball. She puts it up and in.
Harris for 2.
She's got 8. 10 for the ball game. 8 in the second quarter. Here's Johnson with it off the pass from Major. Now back to Johnson over to Helms on the right wing. Right wing 3 for Mooney is up and good. 2 back-to-back for her. She's got 11 in the second quarter. So she's not doing too bad herself tonight. There's Doherty with it now off the pass from number 20, Winter. And that's Harris with it now. And that 3 from Albertini is up and good. 25-23, a 2-point ball game as Titans were looking to finally have some time here. Trinity Green with her first bucket. Underneath the basket, gets to go, her first of the ball game. As there's Major with it, she tried to pick it off and lost it out of bounds. 5-point ball game, 27-23. 4-point ball game, my bad. You would think simple math would be simple, but for me it's not. As Harris gets trapped in the lane, flips it over to Winter. It's it back to Harris in the lane, and her jump shot's up and good.
Harris for 2.
She's got 10 now. I think one of the keys to the second half is going to be containing her because it seems like anytime she gets the ball and is in the lane, it's going to score. Helms, last second 3 off the mark, no good. And Green tried to save it. Nobody home. 2.4 left. It'll be St. Paul basketball. So don't hope for a miracle here. Here's Harris with it. He'll duck it up. No good.
And at the end of the first half.
So at the end of 2,
25.
Columbus Titans lead 27-25. Like we said, this team kind of seems to fall apart here in the second half of action. So hopefully they can keep the momentum up and hang on and win this one, even though we can't hear commercials. For some reason, I'm going to try to fix that. We're going to at least play them just so I can get a break and add up some numbers. We'll be back here on Columbus Sports Live to Columbus High School in 2 minutes. All right, everybody, welcome back out here to Columbus High School. The people walking off the court tonight are the Mini Titan girls basketball players, assuming they'll introduce the boys at the halftime of the boys' game. But yeah, always great for them to get their recognition as we kick off the Crossland Construction halftime show. Your career awaits with Crossland Construction. Start with Crossland right out of high school with their internship and apprenticeship programs. You can learn more at crossland.com/careers. Take a look at some point totals for this first half for the Titans. They are led in scoring by Katie Mooney. Not a bad night for her at all. 14 points, most of them coming in the second quarter. She has 11 in the second quarter with 3 in the first. That's followed up by Ellie Helms with 6, once again getting the majority of hers in the second quarter. Johnson, she's got 4, all coming in the first quarter. And Trinity Green got a bucket tonight already with 2 points in the ball game. And Major hasn't scored tonight, but she got in foul trouble early pretty much as soon as she got into the ball game, she picked up 3 quick ones, and she had to sit out for a good majority of this first half. I would say one of them was a bit of a lousy call, but other than that, she was just trying to play some rough defense, trying to stop from the things that they like to do, especially drive in the lane, which is what Harris has been doing all night. Let me look up her first name here. That's Josie Harris. She's been the leading scorer tonight for the Indians. She has 12, 10 of those coming in the second quarter. So, like we said before halftime, one of the keys to this second half has got to be contain her. Watch her. Don't let her get in the lane. Play really good defense against her because, like I said, 10 of hers have come in the second quarter. And if she wasn't in the ball game tonight, this game wouldn't be close. So she's kept St. Paul in it. That's followed by a tie at 6 points between Doherty and Albertini, both with 6. All of Albertini's coming in the second quarter. She got hot near halfway through, and she drained a 3 there and also went to the foul stripe. So she's hasn't had a bad first half. She's been playing a lot of good defense. She's poked the ball away a couple times and gotten some turnovers to go St. Paul's way. And Doherty has 2 in the first quarter, and then she followed up with 4 points in the second to give her 6. And then Ava Chambers has 1 after she went to the foul stripe and got a 1 out of 2 in the bucket earlier on in the first quarter. We're going to take another break. 6 minutes to go until we start up the second half of play in this girls' game. Both boys' squads warming up as we're trying to get the filter the mini Titan basketball players out of there. But we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more of the Crossing Construction halftime show and look at some scores going on from some matchups around the area tonight. We'll be back in 2 minutes here on Columbus Sports Live. We'll go back out here to Columbus High School. We'll check in with some local teams from around the area tonight, checking out what they're doing. Like we said earlier tonight, Galena going to be taking on the Colgan Panthers at Colgan High School. Not a rough one a rough one tonight for the Bulldogs. It's 12-40 right now, with 1:08 left to go in the second quarter. So not the best of games there for the girls' side tonight for the Bulldogs, and I'm sure the Colgan Panthers are going to be remaining undefeated tonight. On the Girard Riverton game, the Rams travel to Ted R. Taylor Gymnasium to take on the Trojans of Girard. It's 9-8 their Trojan lead at the half. They're getting ready to start the third quarter of action on this one, so hopefully we should have a decent quarter of action ourselves. Current score 27-25. Titans are still up by 2, and we've kind of talked about it in the pregame. It seems like in the second half this team falls apart, so hopefully they're not going to do that tonight. They're going to keep the same momentum now that they're leading at the half, and we'll hopefully go forward with this one and hang on and win. Exciting one. We're going to take our final break here of the the Crossing Construction halftime show, and we'll get back at it here in 1 minute from Columbus High School. Back out here to Columbus High School. Start of the third quarter, 27-25 the score. We have a big one here. Hopefully the momentum can stay up for the Titans in this second half of play, as the Indians will have the basketball to kick off this one. As both teams will swap sides, reset. As that's Harris. She'll kick it off by inbounding it to Albertini. Long pass over to Seam inside the lane for Chambers. And they're going to get a foul on Chambers herself, a pushing foul. Ball will go back to the Titans. As Mooney inbounds to Helms. Gets it over to Allison. Now back to Helms. Trying to find somewhere to put it. Back out a little. Reset things. Gets it over to Johnson. Now back to Helms. Nearly loses it, but gets it back. Gets it back over to Mooney. And her shot in the lane, no good. I'm assuming they called a charge.
Fouls on Columbus, number 0. Katie Mooney.
I'm assuming they're going to call a charge on Katie Mooney. Either that or a blocking foul. Kind of hard to see at this angle when I'm just right aligned with the basket.
Foul on Columbus, number 3, Briley Johnson.
Okay, I guess that was a foul on Briley Johnson. Foul city early here in this one. I didn't think that was a foul myself, but oh well. Ball stays with the Indians from the inbound. Albertini to Harris. 3 from Albertini. Shot no good. And then ball will go out of bounds and go back to the Titans. As Mooney sets to inbound it to Helms. She'll bring it across the timeline. Puts it over to Johnson now. Johnson drives in the lane and loses it.
Fouls on second.
Foul will be called on number 23.
Pregame.
Chloe Seam.
Third.
Seamy.
Second.
I'm not entirely sure.
For thankful, the number 11.
I'm pronouncing it Seam because I think that's what's correct, but I very well may be wrong. And if I am, I apologize. I don't want to get names wrong here. Here's Helms with it now. Puts it over to Mooney. Back to Johnson now on the left wing. Over to Mooney now with that, I guess, hand brace on. She was hurt her hand in the Girard game. And then ball goes out of bounds. Johnson unable to save it. It'll go back to the Indians. As that's Harris, and she'll tip it up to Albertini. Albertini going to take her time, bringing it across. Gets it over to Harris. Harris now going to reset out. Gets it over. Or no. Was that Harris? Number 11? Yeah, both Harrises there. I thought I was correct, but I wasn't sure. Here's Helms. Shot no good. No points so far. Allison with the rebound, and she's being trapped. And a blocking foul. And we'll see who that one's on, as there was a lot of contact there.
Fouls on Hannah Doherty. That's her second.
Doherty, her second. I don't know what the foul call was, or the call in general, but alternating possession will go back to the Indians. Here's Albertini with it. Gets it over to Harris. The Indians put their hands up. The ball will stay with the Titans. Or the Indians, I'm sorry. There's Davis. Harris with it now. Three-pointer no good, and that was Albertini in the lane. Let's see who the foul's going to be on. Helms.
Number 5, Ellie Helms.
Her third.
That's her third. To the line for the St. Paul. Two shots will be number 21, Sophia Albertini.
Albertini could tie the game up here, and she does. First 2 points of the second half. Ties the game up 27-all. Here's Helms with it. Carmen with it now in the corner. She'll back out, drive in. Gets it over to Mooney. Her three from the top of the key, no good. And Harris just kind of lose. I think Titan fans wanted a travel call there, as Harris kind of walked and fell down with it, but St. Paul manages to save it. Here's Albertini in the lane. She kind of throws it up and gets fouled. Sometimes that's what you got to do. That's one of the bad parts of basketball. If you can angle yourself the right way, all you got to do is chuck it up there. Not really worried if it goes in. You can go to the line and have some chances to score points. Her first one's up and good. St. Paul takes the lead. They have the opportunity to make it a 2-point game based on this free throw. Shots no good. Johnson comes down with the rebound on it, flips it over to Helms. No need to panic. You're only down by 1, but you do need to start scoring here. There's a blocking foul as Maddie Bergen will check back into the ball game and replace Riley Johnson. That foul will be on Harris, number 11.
Checking in for St. Paul, the number 20, Maggie Winter, and number 14 for Columbus, Maddie.
Apparently that's Harris's third. I had her for 1, but oh well. There's Johnson with it now. Gets it over to Bergen. In the corner is Helms with it. Turn it over to Johnson. Long two. No good. And that's. Who was that came down with the rebound? That's Harris. Or no, that was Chambers. I'm sorry. Or Seam, one of the two. I couldn't see the number. Pretty sure that was Chambers. Came down with the rebound, and Harris shot it, went out of bounds. But last one off of a Titan. It'll stay with the Indians. Here's Albertini. Shots up, no good from the baseline. And here comes Ellie Helms with it. Takes off like a jet, nearly loses it. Gets it out of there. Here's Katie Mooney for three. Nailed it. Finally, some points on the board for the Titans, and they take the lead by 2. And that shot up for Albertini, no good. And Bergen tries to get the rebound, and her and Harris fall down. And Harris will try a three from the other end, no good. And Bergen tries to get the rebound. Harris barely saved it from going out of bounds there, and her shot's up and good. She got a few attempts at it. Not what you want to see in a team. As Johnson will check it into Helms. We're tied up once again at this one at 30 points. There's the pass to Mooney from Johnson. Now back to Johnson. She takes the three and hits it.
Johnson for 2.
Oh, and they're going to call it a long two. Darn. Guess her foot stepped across the line here. 30-second timeout called by Coach Augustine. She's going to talk things over with her squad. 32-30, a close one here with 3:05 left to go in the third. We're back to Columbus High School in 30 seconds. Welcome back out here to Columbus High School. Ran the quickest commercial by accident, but that's all right. We got to get them all in. Unfortunately, there is no sound. Like we said, the audio seems to be the only problems we ever have up here, and I don't know why. We're trying a new audio system, so I'm hoping we sound a lot better than what we have in the past. But for some reason, our commercials aren't working. I can hear them. Last week, the commercials were working, but the audio wasn't, the voice. So we'll try to get things figured out one of these days. Here's Harris, long three, no good. Mooney comes down with the rebound. Mooney will take off like a jet in the lane, and her shot's up and good. 34-30. She falls down trying to escape trying to escape out of there. Get ready for defense. And there's a pass from, I think that was Chambers into Harris, and shot was no good, but she is fouled.
Fouls on Columbus.
Maybe that was Albertini, excuse me, and they're going to get 8 on for that one. Her third team's fifth.
Able to shoot 2 shots. It'll be number 21, Sophie Albertini.
Here's Harris with it now. Shots from Albertini, no good. Indians will kind of reset here. There's Doherty to Chambers. Back to Doherty now. Long pass for, I believe that's Albertini. She tries a three, too strong. And ball will go out of bounds. Back to the Titans. So they'll reset, and Titans will have another opportunity to score the basketball. They need it. They need a breakaway here from this lead. 34-30 the score right now. Here's Helms with it. She drives in. Shot no good. And I think that was Winter that came down with the rebound, and it was. Flips it over to Albertini. She'll bring it across. That's Harris with it now. Shot no good. And that was Trinity Adaramos. She checked in the ball game, came down with the rebound, and I think Helms slipped with it, but Mooney got it back. And Helms gets the ball and travels. She took the shot from the baseline and would have made it, but traveled before her. So Grace Major will check into the ball game. Helms will have her first break of the night. As Doherty is set to inbound it to Albertini. There's Doherty with it now. Her three, no good. Major comes down with it. There's Johnson. Her shot is no good. I believe that was Winter that saved it and brings it across to Albertini. I apologize if I missed something. We're having some difficulty with the kids here tonight. They're banging on the mezzanine railing. So we got our crowd mic, and even if you guys can't hear it, I can hear it, and it rattles my eardrums here a little bit. Seam will check back into the ball game, or Seamy. PA table's pronouncing it Seamy, so I'm going to go with that. Albertini faked for three and said passed it into Doherty, and it goes off out of bounds. Last touch by a Titan, and will remain here with the Indians. Albertini inbounds it to Harris. In the right wing, Mooney tried to tip it out. She tries the three and nails it. Mooney did a pretty good job of containing her. She just took the three. There's Major in the lane. Shot is no good, but she will go to the foul line.
Fouls on same call, number 21. Sophie Albertini.
Albertini's a call for that one. Just her second.
Line for the Titans, two shots. Will be number 2.
One point ball game. Major has the opportunity to stretch it to a 3.8. First shot's up and no good. Major does make the second one, though. Her first point of the ball game. Here's Albertini with it now. Inside. Her shot's up and good. Back to a 2-point ball game. 30. Oh, no, it's tied. 35-35. I forgot Grace didn't make the first one. Here's Bergen with it now. There's the three from Mooney. Austin Martin, no good. And Briley Johnson will take the foul. Her shot's no good.
And fouls on St. Paul, number 22, Josie Harris. That's her third. Team 6. To the line for the Lady Titans, shoot 2 shots. Will be number 3, Riley Johnson. And at the end of 3, we have a good one going here in Columbus.
Sorry I missed that one, folks. But yeah, at the end of 3 quarters of play, it's 36-35 here from Columbus High School. We'll take another quick break and we'll come back with fourth quarter action. It's a good one. Stick around. We return to Columbus High School in 30 seconds. Back out here to Columbus High School.
Start the fourth quarter. Possession arrow favors the Lady Titan.
Finally getting all my messages taken care of here. Start this fourth quarter of play. Here's Major with it now. And a pushing foul called on number 32. Chambers, her third.
Fouls on St. Paul, number 32, Ava Chambers. That's her third. Team 7. New line shoot the bonus for the Lady Titans. Be number 2, Grace Major.
Major's first shot up and good. And Ava Harmon and Harris fighting for the rebound.
Jump ball called on the
Jump
floor.
ball.
Arrow goes to St. Paul.
Possession will favor St. Paul. Here's Albertini. She brings it up. Flips it over to Harris. I guess they're trying to stall here, burn some clock. I'm not sure why. Figure if you were down, you would want to press a little bit. You would want to push their defense. Ball will go out of bounds. Last touched by a Titan. It'll stay with the Indians. There's Doherty with it now. Albertini will drive in off the pass from Doherty. Here's Harris. Harris, top of the key three. Rolls off, no good. Major comes down with the rebound. Long pass across court for Briley Johnson, and her easy bucket's no good. I can understand why Coach Lee got a little frustrated right there. Those buckets are pretty much given to you, and when you miss them, it just hurts. That all worked out as Titans got the ball back. As Helms takes it near the 25-foot line, and will reset the offense. There's Mooney with it. She'll drive in the lane, loses it, and there's Major on the tie-up.
No ball call on the floor.
Possession arrow will still stay with the Titans. Johnson set to inbound it. Gets it inside to Harmon. She loses it, and Harris comes up with it. Still a 2-point ball game, 37-35. A lot of people in the crowd tonight on the Titan side in support of the many Titan players. And, of course, the high school ones as well. Here's the three from Chambers. Her shot no good. Or, excuse me, that wasn't Chambers. That was Simi. And there's a foul call. Oh. We're going to get Major with a travel, and ball will go back to the Indians as Major stole it. Couldn't steal it quick enough. Caught in a host of Indian players and took a few extra steps in there. Albertini gets it over to Harris now on the right wing. Fine inside, gets it back to Simi. Now over to Harris. Right wing three is good.
Harris for 3.
Not much of a better time for Simi to get her first points of the ball game as she extends or gives the Indians a 1-point lead. Here's Harmon with it now. She'll drive in the lane left wide open, and she's up and good. The miscommunication there on the St. Paul defense, and Titans once again take the lead. Here's Harris with it now, top of the key. Going to find somewhere to put it. She'll drive in the lane. Shot's no good. Harmon.
Jump ball called on the floor. Arrow goes to
Harmon on the tie-up, and the possession arrow will stay with St. Paul. Ball went out of bounds there. Or no, I guess they're going to call a foul on Katie Mooney. I thought she just tipped it out of bounds, but I'm looking from the opposite side of the court, so I'm not in the best of judgment. We'll get a foul on Katie Mooney, not a shooting situation. Albertini gets it into Simi, and that ball stolen by Ava Harmon, and Harris tips it out in the backcourt, and Doherty comes up with it. And that shot from Simi, no good. Mooney comes down with the rebound. We'll slow it down near half court. And that ball nearly tipped out of there by Harris. And there's a jump ball tie-up. Or no. Full timeout called by Coach Elite. So he's going to try to keep his offense and his defense motivated and hopefully tell them to slow down a little bit and get the looks you need. You're up right now, so you don't need to worry about shooting. You just need to find the look you need and burn a little bit of clock, even if you're up by one. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back here with more Titan basketball in 30 seconds. Back out here, Columbus High School, as we have triple four on the clock. 4 minutes, 44 seconds left to go here in this one. 39-38. A close one here. But now's the time where I've seen games that have been this close, and I guess Major and Harris tripped over each other now as Johnson's got it. I was getting ready to say I've seen games that team has run away with it at this point. Here's Mooney for three. Shot no good, and there's the rebound from Harris. She'll back out of the Titan press and get it over to the other Harris. There's Albertini with it off the pass from Doherty. She'll get it back over to Harris. She'll drive baseline. Gets it back out over to Simi. Albertini, she drives in the lane. Her shot no good. And Johnson comes down with the rebound, but it's stolen away by Harris. And Albertini will try it again. No good. And Harris grabs it and falls down. And they're going to get a foul on somebody as soon as the ref gives the indication.
Foul on Columbus, number 12.
Ava Harmon, her fourth.
7.
So Harmon in foul trouble late here. And for
Still line for St.
Coach Leite's going to take out Briley Johnson and keep Ava Harmon in the game. Here's Harris with it now. Her shot's up and good.
Harris for 2.
I believe that's her first 2 of the fourth quarter. Here's Helms with it. Brings it up the timeline. She'll drive in the lane. Shot's up and good. Now a 1-point lead for St. Paul. You just can't let them run away with it. If they score, you got to answer on the other end. Nice defense there as Harris was trapped. A 3 from Albertini, no good. Major comes down with it underneath pass to Mooney. Shots up and good. There you go. That's what you got to do. If they answer, you got to take the lead back. It's a 1-point game, so just a 2-pointer is going to change the difference of who's going to win or lose this one. Here's Doherty with it. Over to Simi. Going to try to stall out a little bit, burn some clock, and try to score. A blocking foul called. Shot's no good, but Simi will go to the line.
Foul on Columbus, number 12.
And Ava Harmon just fouled out.
Checking in for the Titans will be number 3, Briley Johnson.
Ava Harmon fouls out, and Briley Johnson goes back in.
Be number 23, Chloe Seating.
See, on fouls, Mooney's got 3, Johnson's got 1, Helms has got 3, and Major has 3. So most of the main players here not in foul trouble, but a couple of them close. So you gotta watch your defense here.
Timeout called on the floor.
Bucket for Simi is good. It ties the ball game up as our scoreboard camera goes wonky again. We'll try to fix this here as we take a quick break. We'll be back here in hopefully 30 seconds. All right, there we go. We got the scoreboard all fixed up. Like I said, one little bump of that camera. I'm going to start putting it on the floor instead of sitting it on this table. I think that's going to help us out a lot. We'll try it out at Baxter. Baxter at home on the 13th, coming up this Friday. Good CNC matchup here for the Titans and the Lions. Here's Helms with it now. And that pass to Allison tipped away and stolen by a mix of Harris and Albertini. And Albertini brings it up, flips it over to Chambers. Excuse me, that was Simi. I get 23 and 32 mixed up. Allison steals that pass, gets it over to Mooney, and Harris tried to steal the pass from Helms to Mooney. Mooney's shot's no good, but she will draw the foul. And
Simi. That's her forward teammate. To the line for the Lady Titans to shoot 2 shots will be number 0, Katie Mooney.
Oh, she'll shoot a pair. Okay. There's Doherty with it now. I apologize, folks. Like I said, we're having a daycare here at Columbus High School this evening. That's Albertini with it. Gets it over to Harris. And that was Simi with it. Flips it over to Albertini. Harris, she'll try a right wing 3. No good. And Helms will come down with a rebound. Helms will go backcourt and reset off of the press from the Indians. There's Johnson with it. She fakes the 3, takes the step in the lane. Shot no good, but the putback from Majors not good. Looked like it was going to go in, and they're going to get another foul on Grace Major.
Fouls on Columbus, number 2. Grace.
That's her 4th, and now she's in foul trouble. It's a little bit risky at this point in the ball game to take her out. You're only up by 1, and St. Paul's going to shoot a bonus here. Rolls off, no good. St. Paul does come down with the rebound. Here's Harris underneath the basket. Shots up, no good. And they've had multiple attempts at the basket.
Fouls on Columbus, number 2.
Coach Lee not happy at all with that one. Titans gave them several opportunities to make it, and then a foul call as they were trying to fight for the rebound, I think. And Harris will go back to the foul stripe. Shoot it again, and now St. Paul's in the double bonus. So every time they go to the foul stripe, it'll result in 2. First one bounces off, no good. Titans have gotten lucky here that St. Paul's missed their free throws down the stretch and hasn't been able to make one since really at the start of this fourth quarter. Well, she makes the second one and ties the ball game up. Part of me thinks I might have been counting points for Josie Harris, or for Georgia Harris to Josie Harris. I'm not sure, but I've only got it that she's got 3. And that's going to be a foul against
Fouls on St. Paul, number 21, Sophie
Albertini.
That's her third.
Foul one against
Team 9.
Foul one against Helms, and she'll go to the foul stripe.
Ellie Helms.
Here's the bonus. First one's up and good. She gets another crack at it. Now back to a 1-point lead for the Titans. And stretch it to a 2-point difference. Less than a minute to go in this one. And she does.
Helms is super human from the line.
Not a bad time for Helm to get her first points in the second half. There's Albertini with it. Gets it over to Harris. Harris around the perimeter looking for somewhere to go. She'll drive in. A little shot. No good. And Allison comes down with the rebound. And there's the tie-up and a blocking foul called. Deschanero will favor the Titans, and Allison will go to the free throw line.
Fouls on St. Paul, number 21, Sophie Albertini. That's her fourth. Team 10. To the line for the Lady Titans to shoot the bonus. With number 25, Macy Allison.
It's a decent amount of pressure on Allison here to make these. First one for Allison bounces off, no good. That foul is going to be the fourth against Albertini, and now she's in foul trouble. She's got 4. Chambers has 3. Simi has 3. Second shot for Allison bounces off, no good. And she grabs the pass and a jump ball tie-up. And possession arrow will go back to the Titans. So even though Allison missed the bucket, she made a key steal there in the game as Indians are going to run a full court press.
Timeout ball on the forward by the Titans.
Coach Lee going to call a full timeout and reset his offense here as the Indians are going to make life tough for the Titans trying to inbound it. We'll find out the end result of this one. 33.3 seconds to go. A 2-point ball game here. Titans lead it. We're back to Columbus High School in 30 seconds. Welcome back here to Columbus High School. A 2-point ball game. 44-42, 33.3 seconds left to go. I'd like to update you on some scores. An upset win tonight in Girard, Kansas. The Riverton Rams in the girls' side beat the Trojans 22-20. And I'm hoping at least here on the girls' side, even if it's a 2-point game, hoping we come out here with it. Titans do have the basketball. If they can inbound it, all you got to do is hold it. Don't try to run it. Don't try to extend your lead. The only way you need to extend is by the foul stripe, and here comes Helms with it. She'll bring it up. Underneath to Allison. She looks the opportunity for the shot. And that's not what I would have done there. I would have just let them hold it. Hold the ball and let them come to you. That's pretty much the strategy at this point. But Albertini will come across with it. Here's Simi with it. She backs out a little off the Titan defense. And that pass stolen. Oh. Katie Mooney nearly got the steal there. Goes out of bounds. Ball will go back to the Indians, and they'll inbound it at the half-court mark. There's the press defense for the Titans. Here's Harris with it. She'll drive in the lane. Shot no good, and Harris comes down with the rebound. And there's going to be a blocking foul called. Her shot's no good. It will result in 2, either the double bonus, but all they can do is tie it up at this point.
Helms.
4th for Helms. She's in foul trouble. At this point, it doesn't matter. Unless you go into overtime, which we don't want. So Titans do have the advantage here. If they do get 2, you burn the clock out and you shoot it at the last second and hope for a miracle. If you make it, you go home the victory. If you don't, you go into overtime and do it again. Coach Leak going to burn another timeout. It's a 30-second timeout. We'll take it with him. I hate to do this, even if we have no audio on the commercials. Is it full or 30? It's a full timeout now, I think. Okay. The ref signaled 30 at first and then's now calling full. 7.1 to go. Titans still up by 2 with a Indian at the foul stripe. We'll be back to Columbus High School in 30 seconds. Don't want to miss this one here, folks, from Columbus High School. 44-42 with an Indian at the foul stripe. That's Georgia Harris. She's looking to hopefully, if she makes them, hopefully extend this game in overtime. Unless Titans do make it. A tense moment here. But Titans got to get a rebound. That's the one thing you don't want is them to shoot the 2 and then get the rebound and go up by another 2. That would be not good. And the rebound comes down to Harris. Her shot no good. And Helms comes down with it, and she's fouled. Got to be lucky Josie Harris didn't make that 2 there.
That's a report. Now to the line for the Lady Titans will be number 5, Ellie Helm.
If Helms sinks both of these, she ices it away. If she misses them, St. Paul has the opportunity for a miracle at the buzzer play. Makes the first one. So now all they can do is tie it up. Theoretically, in a miracle situation, there's the possibility of a 3-point and a foul, but I would just hope to God we wouldn't even think about doing that. She misses the second one, so now they just got to throw it at the buzzer. No good, and Titans are going to win it by 3, 45-42. Here in this one, a close one here from Titan Fieldhouse, but the Lady Titans come off with a win. 45-42 against the St. Paul Indians. And their record extends to 3-4. 3-4, excuse me. Titan boys hoping to clutch their record to 6-1. Coming up next here in the boys game, we'll bring you a preview of that and look at some totals from this one. Coming up next, we return to Columbus High School in 2 minutes. Back out here as we wrap up this girls game here by looking at some point totals for this evening. Leading scorer tonight for the Titans, an impressive 21 points from Katie Mooney. She dropped, let's see, 7 in the second half, but she had a huge second quarter. She dropped, let's see here, let's count it up. 6, 8, 11. She dropped 11 there in the second quarter. So a big night for Katie Mooney offensively and defensively. She got some steals there down the stretch, which were huge. Looking here, that's followed by Helms. She had 6 at half and managed to get another 3 there in the fourth quarter. Rounds her total tonight out at 9. Briley Johnson, she had 4 at the half and got another 4. 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth. She brought the lead for her up to 8 in point totals. Ava Harmon got a bucket in the fourth quarter. Put her on the board tonight. Trinity Green, second quarter 2. Rounds out her total tonight. And Grace Major got a foul stripe 1 point. Nailed one from the foul line. That's her only points tonight. She got in foul trouble early, like we said. So, didn't get to play as much as I think she would have liked to, as much as we would have liked to have seen. Titans still come out with a win tonight, 45-42. Let's take a look at the point totals here tonight for the St. Paul Indians. They're led in scoring by Josie Harris with 19 points. She had 10 of those alone. In fact, in the second quarter, 12 and a half. And I think Titans did a decent job of containing her defensively because she only scored 2 in the fourth quarter and 5 in the third. So she was really slowed down in the second half compared to what she did in that second quarter. You know, it kind of got me a little bit worried thinking what they were going to do offensively in the second quarter with her, in the second half with her kind of running all the plays. Chloe Simi had a big 3 in the fourth quarter, and that was her points for the night. Ava Chambers had 1, her 1 in the first. Georgia Harris had 1 in the fourth quarter, and Doherty had 6 points, all of them in the first half. So, not a bad night scoring for the Titans, especially Katie Mooney, as she had 21 points. You know, you got to give it to her. You know, she's not afraid to take the 3 from any position, and when she takes it, there's about I would say, a 70-30 shot. She hits it. Sometimes she doesn't. And especially on tonight when they were pressing the defense, she just kind of had to take it from wherever, and she did, and she got it to go several times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times tonight. She managed to get the 3-pointer to fall. So not a bad night for Katie Mooney either. Ellie Helms as well. A lot of these players got in foul trouble. That's something that I think the Titans need to work on a little bit, but it shows they're playing good defense. Shows they're trying to get in and they're trying to box out and they're trying to rebound the ball. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. But yeah, let's take a look at all the players. Mooney had 3 fouls. Johnson only had 1 on the night. Helms had 4. Harmon had 5. She fouled out early in the fourth quarter. Allison had 2. And Major had 4 as well. She got 3 quick ones early on. I think it was almost all of them were in the first quarter. And she sat out for a little bit, came in the second half, and played pretty good defense. She got a couple of steals late in the stretch, and she managed to put her part in tonight for the Titans. So hopefully this boys game, I say goes similarly, but looking at the record for St. Paul, 1-5. Our record 5-1, taking a tough loss to Girard last week. We'll talk about that coming up. We should theoretically have this one in the bag, but there's a lot that the Titans needed to work on the weekend and Monday from the Girard game. We'll talk about all that coming up after the break, and we'll update you on some scores from around the area too. We return to Columbus High School with the second act of the Vital Signs pregame show coming up here in 2 minutes. All right, everybody, welcome on out to Columbus Sports Live as we kick off Act 2 of the Vital Signs pregame show here in Columbus Sports Live. The Titans' execution is vital to their success. And at Vital Signs, they know how important execution is. That's why they help you through the entire process from design to installation. You can follow them at facebook.com/Vital Signs Sign Company. Looking at this one here tonight, the Indians, a 1-5 team, taking on the Columbus Titans, who are 5-1, taking a loss last week, 50-40 against the Girard Trojans. This St. Paul squad losing 42-23 against Girard before Christmas break. They've also taken losses to, that was the girls squad. They haven't played Girard yet, but they've taken a loss to Galena, 71-29, Golden City, 65-50. Colgan 67-46. The only game they've won so far this season, according to Max Preps, is Chatopa 71-18. Olpe 74-33 loss for them, and they lost to Southeast on the third, 65-58. They played Pleasanton on the 6th, but that score is not on Max Prep, so I have no idea. They may be 2-5, they may be 1-6. I'm not entirely sure, but this Titan team losing in a rough one. Wouldn't really call it an upset. Girard's a pretty good team, so I think this that game could have went either way. But the Titans definitely could have won this one if they could have made some shots from the free throw line. If I can say words correctly tonight, I always have that problem in saying free throw line and 3-point mark. So I apologize, but yeah. Free throw line, Titans were dry. They couldn't really make anything at all. In fact, I think in the fourth quarter, Coal Miner was 1 of 6. So, or not Coal Miner, Colt Ungenhauer, excuse me. Brett's totals didn't look that great either. The only person, ironically enough, from what I said earlier, that could only hit from the free throw line was Coal Miner. So, props to Cole, but hopefully the team has worked a little bit. I can see Colt right now at the free throw line knocking them down. So hopefully they've worked a little bit and have improved much. I think it was the nerves coming off after Christmas break, the first game back. You're playing a tough CNC team. You're not exactly sure what's going to happen, especially in a team like Girard, who they've got a lot of guys coming back. Not all of them, but they've got most of them. So this team, I honestly believe if we would have hit our free throws, we could have had that game in the bag. It was 50-40. It was a close game the whole stretch, but Girard kind of started to pull away late a little bit, and Titans crawled back in it several times. A couple key timeouts called by Coach Smiley. Thought we would maybe be able to get things figured out, things adjusted, but we could not. So Titans are going to come back hopefully a little angry off of that loss. They're now 5-1. Come back and stretch the lead to 6-1. They've got some definitely winnable games coming up here in the second half of the season here. They've got Baxter Springs coming up on Friday night at home. And then all the next week, we've got the Lansard Classic tournament at Southeast, which they did win last year. So knowing the team that they have this year and knowing the teams in the tournament, we should hopefully have a successful one this time around. Hopefully we'll get a word coming in from Coach Leet. We'll take another quick 1-minute timeout. We'll be back here coming up on the Vital Signs pregame show right before the tip here in Columbus Sports Live. Back out here to Columbus High School, Columbus, Kansas, as we kick off the boys' game here. We're going to talk to Coach Lee here in just 1 second, but well, I guess we'll talk to him now, actually, before we introduce the starting lineups. I feel like that's a better fit. But test it out. Can't hear me? Let's turn that up. How about now?
Yep.
Good?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Testing out some new audio, so now we're good. So looking at tonight's game, it was a burner until the very end, 45-42 over the St. Paul Indians tonight, but not a bad game. Katie Mooney had 21 points on the night, leading scorer for the Titans, and you held, I was really watching Harris here. She had 10 alone in the second quarter, 12 in the first half, and you guys really contained her pretty well in the second half. Kind of talk about what you talked about at halftime to come out and finish this game off.
We knew Katie, from start to finish, Katie, she's a problem when she's focused in. Defensively, she's always got that shot, but defensively it was nice. Those steals, that hands in the passing lane, she was everywhere tonight. But yes, Harris is a great player. We knew she was killing us that first half. So in the locker room, we were talking about just keeping eyes on her, know where she's at. We tried to do some different things defensively that didn't really work, but the girls were active, they were ready to put in anything we needed to do.
Absolutely. We haven't had a chance to talk to you since Christmas break, so even though it's a little past that, kind of talk about how Christmas break went for you guys. Did you get in any practices, and did you enjoy the time off?
Yeah, we actually had just a lot of fun. Didn't get a lot of practice in, but it was a lot of team building. We went to a Pitt State basketball game, watched the game, went out to a team dinner. We did gifts exchange. We brought them in one time for a shoot around, but really it was just us just being together as a team. And it was aside from just basketball stuff, it was just nice hanging out with the girls.
You guys have a Baxter coming up on Friday night at home, a very winnable game. They haven't had the best of luck this season. They're 0-6, 0-5, something like that.
Yep.
So what's the kind of plan going into the Baxter Springs Lions?
Well, that's what we talked about just now, that we are not going to take Baxter game lightly. We're not going to overlook it and see what's next week. We went into this week talking about our goal is to be 2-0 when we're done. And right now, we've taken care of the first step. So Friday, we want to go out and take care of business. We're preparing for the next couple of days, like we're going to war on Friday.
Absolutely. I'm going to let you get out of here and celebrate this one.
Thanks.
A little bit early. Thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you on Friday night.
All right. Thanks, bud.
That was the voice of the head coach of the Lady Titans, Matt Lead, as they win tonight 45-42 over the St. Paul Indians as we get started here in this boys game. Assuming Titans won the tip, and I guess it went out of bounds. I'm not sure. On the floor for the Indians is Trey Peters. Number 3, number 4, Kaiser Wyatrack, something like that. Number 34, Zachary Kirkpatrick. Number 14, Vincent Smith. And number 20, Dylan Pauly. So those are your starting 5 tonight for the Lions. Starting 5 tonight for the Lions. The Indians tonight for the Titans is Colt Dungenhauer, number 13. Number 22, Cole Miner. Number 30, Brett Hamilton. 35, Landon Midget. Number 42, Seth Stover. Titans in their home whites, red letters and numerals. The Indians in their road maroons, white letters and numerals.
Dylan Pauly is first. Team first. Miner
puts up the first 2 of the ball game. We'll whistle him down, and a foul already on Dylan Pauly. As I'm still trying to get the names wrote down here. That's what I was going to do before I interviewed Coach Lee, but here's Pauly with it now. Gets it over to Peters. Flips it over to Wyatrack. That was Smith with it. Now back over to Peters. That was Wyatrack with it in the lane, and there's a 3 from Trey Peters, and the Indians take an early lead at Oh no, I guess there was another bucket scored. They don't take the lead, but it's 4-3. I thought it was 2-0 at that point. That was my bad, folks. I was writing lineups. Didn't even think to look at the scoreboard. Ball tipped out of bounds. Last touched off an Indian and will stay with the Titans. Now Stover set to inbound it. Gets it over to Midget. I'm going to move the computer back here as I'm tired of writing on my leg. There's Ungenhauer with it now. Gets it over to Minor. I don't know what happened there. I guess the ball went out of bounds or a travel or something. That's Peters with it now. Gets it over to Weatrack. He drives in the lane. Shots up. No good. Rebound nearly cleared out of there by Kirkpatrick, but ball goes out of bounds. Last touch off of Stover's hands. It'll stay with the Indians as Peters is set to inbound it. He gets it over to Smith. That's Vincent Smith with it now. There's Peters for three. Shot no good. Minor comes down with the rebound, and he'll slow it down as he takes it up the timeline. There's Minor, right wing. Gets it over to Midget in the right corner. Inside to Minor. There's a foul on the floor. That will go against number 14, Vincent Smith, his first. All the fouls go to St. Paul early in this one as Minor inbounds it to Ungenhauer. His shot off the board, no good. And Weatrack comes down with the rebound. Puts it over to Smith. Tried to dump it inside for Kirkpatrick, but lands in the hands of Hamilton. And there's Ungenhauer with the one-handed slam. Knocks it down 6-3 and gets the foul.
Fouls on St. Paul, number 3.
Even the St. Paul coach was kind of smiling about that one. He was kind of like, dang.
Okay.
He makes it look so easy out there, but you got to have the hops, and state high jump champion certainly has it. That was Weatrack now with it over to Smith as he'll bring it up. Looking for some place to put it. Almost forgot to write Colts points there. Here's Peters with it in the lane. Can't find an opening. Gets it back out to Smith. Inside for Kirkpatrick. The big fella. Shot no good. And Stover comes down with the rebound. Flips it over to Minor. Now with it's Hamilton. Hamilton will drive in. And that's going to be a foul on Hamilton.
Team third. I'm out on the floor. Fouled by the Titans. Nobody at 30
Coach Miley wants a timeout. Titans lead it 7-3 here. Early on in this one, 4:24 left to go. Opening quarter, we return to Columbus High School in 30 seconds. Back out here, Columbus High School, Columbus, Kansas. 4:24 left to go. Opening quarter. Titans lead it 7-3 here. As Smith tends to inbound it to Weatrack here. As it's St. Paul basketball. Coming out of the timeout called by Coach Smiley. That pass picked out of there. Here's Hamilton off the break. His shot's up and good. His first points of the ball game. Titans lead it now 9-3. That's Peters with it now. He'll drive in the lane. His little floater is up and good, and he has all 5 for the Indians right now. A little transition pass from Ungenhauer to Kirk. There's Hamilton over to Youngblood. Now back to Kirk. Over to Ungenhauer. Drives in a little bit. Puts a teardrop up in the lane. No good. Fights for the rebound. He dives for it and gets it out of there. Turns it up over to Hamilton, and Hamilton back out near the top of the key. Here's Youngblood, and top it back out to Hamilton. His floater in the lane is up and good.
Hamilton for 2.
He's got 4 points on the night. It's now an 11-5 lead. As Jaspin Tanner set to check in for the Titans coming up. That's Smith with it. Got it over to Pauly. Now with it is Weatrack. Back over to Peters. Smith with it once again. Corner 3. Rolls in.
Smith for 3.
Now 11-8. Shot over the board, no good, but Cole Youngblood gets the and one off the made bucket. First points of the night go to him.
His first team.
He's going to go on Kirkpatrick, his first team's 4th. Oh, forgot to count his second.
Number 13. Or excuse me. Number 12.
So
Cole Youngblood.
Tanner, Stover, and Miner back into the game as Midget, Ungenhauer, and Hamilton will sit the bench. Take a little breather. 13-8 the score. Three-point play good for Youngblood as here's Peters with it. Trying to press inside. Gets it back out to, I'll try to get it back out to Weatrack. Tipped out of bounds. Ball will stay with the Indians. And that pass from Peters lands in the hands of Matt Kirk. There's Tanner with it now. That was Miner. Kirk for 3. Shot no good. Miner comes down with the board, and his putback's no good. Fighting for the rebound. It's loose on the floor. He comes up with it.
Timeout called on the floor by the Titans.
Coach Smiley will call timeout. It'll be 30 seconds. His second one of the second quarter. We'll take it with him. We're back to Columbus High School here. We're watching Titan basketball on Columbus Sports Live. Back out of the timeout here, 14-8, a 6-point game here. Columbus leads it over the St. Paul Indians. Early on in this one, 2:13 left to go, opening quarter. Will be Titan basketball out of the timeout as Youngblood set to inbound it. As Coach Smiley called a timeout to save the possession. Here's Youngblood with it. And I guess he traveled in the lane. I couldn't see the foul call because I've got a host of kids in my way. We'll shoo them out here in a second. They're not in the way right now because they're on the other side of the court. There's Peters with it now. Gets it over to Weatrack. And that pass tipped out of bounds by either Cole Youngblood or Cole Miner, one of the two. We'll just say Cole because I'll be right either way. So there you go. One thing about having players that have the same name and in certain situations, you'll always be right. Peters set to inbound it here over to Smith. Gets it over to Weatrack. Now Peters, top of the key. Here's the 3, and he knocks it down.
Peters for 3.
I'd be on top of him. It's 14-11 early on here in this one. Here's Tanner with it. The pass from Tanner to Miner goes out of bounds, and we'll go back to the Indians. Guess a little miscommunication there on the Titan offensive side of things. As Peters will bring it up the timeline. Looking for somewhere to put it. Miner on defense. Over the top pass inside to Kirkpatrick. His shot no good. And Youngblood saves it before it goes out of bounds. Paulie tried to get the rebound, but was tipped out, and Cole Youngblood grabs it and will bring it up. Drives in, then backs out, gets it over to Minor. Long pass to Kirk, now back to Youngblood. Back to Kirk in the corner. Long pass for Tanner. Down low to Minor, over to Stover. That shot no good. And gets it back, and Stover's putback's up and good. First bucket of the night for Seth Stover. It's now 16-11 as we stretch into the final 30 seconds of this ball game. The ball goes out of bounds, and we'll go back to the Titans.
Checking in for the Titans will be number 13, Cole Ungenhauer. And number 35, Landon Midget.
That's Ungenhauer with it. Gets it over to Minor, down low to Stover, and his shot's up and good. 4 quick points there for Seth Stover as Peters brings it up, and it's now a 7-point difference. Here's Smith with it, gets it over to Kirkpatrick. Now Paulie with it. Paulie looking for somewhere to go, stolen out by Cole Minor. They'll rush up the court. Shot's no good, but a foul is called. Will be a shooting situation. No, it's going to go against White-Trick, I guess. I'm calling him Weatrack, but White-Trick, I guess, is what we're going to call it. Like I said, don't want to pronounce anybody's name wrong, going off the PA table. Minor's first shot's up and in. Extend it to 9 here. Makes his free throw. Shot is no good. Announcer's jinx, of course. But the putback from Cole Ungenhauer is good to go. And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. Titans lead at 21-11. We'll be back here from Columbus High School in 1 minute. Back out here to Columbus Sports Live, a 10-point lead for the Titans as we head into the second quarter. 21-11 over the St. Paul Indians. It will be St. Paul basketball to start the second quarter.
Foul on St. Paul, number 4, Kaiser White-Trick. That's his second, team 6.
And there'll be a foul on White-Trick. It's his second, team 6th. As Jace Midget checks into the ball.
Forward, called by.
Apparently St. Paul's going to call a timeout. Whatever they just discussed in 8 seconds, it's already been ruined, so they're going to take a full timeout. And I guess we're going to take it with them. Well, you know what? No, we're not. We're not going to take it with them. We just took one. Let's update you on some scores, since we did not do that during the game break. We'll update you on some scores. A close one from Girard, Kansas at the half. Well, it's not exactly the half yet. A lot can happen in 36 seconds. Well, wouldn't have mattered anyway. At the half, Riverton leads the Girard Trojans on the boys' side 22-21. A pretty similar score to what we saw in the girls' game, and they ended up winning that one by 1 or 2. So, Riverton looking for an upset sweep at Ted R. Taylor Gymnasium tonight. Not a bad one. I know the Colgan girls beat out the Galena girls. That's not the score I'm looking for. We'll find it one of these days. 63-32. It's the second quarter now, and Galena no. Colgan leads 24-20 over Galena. I'm shocked. I want to say the score is wrong, but either way, it's close. So props to Colgan. They took a loss to Baxter on Friday night. So props to them. They're having a heck of a game. Either that or Galena's missing somebody. I don't know, but that's never how Galena plays. So maybe they'll come back. They are a second half team, so we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, good one from Colgan High School. Back to this game. Here's Youngblood with it now. Over to. How you doing? What? 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Got some mini-time basketball players up here wondering when it's going to be halftime. They're going to introduce the boys game coming up. Or not the boys game, but the Mini Titan boys basketball players coming up in the break here as they did the girls. Here's Peters with it now. Somebody got a shot. I think it was Langenhauer. I'll mark him for it, but that might not be right. I might be cheating somebody out of points here. There's a throw-ahead pass from Midget to Hamilton, and he grabs it. He'll drive into the lane. Dish pass underneath to Jace Midget. His shot's no good. It rolled off the rim, but he is going to be fouled. Jace Midget will take his turn at the foul stripe.
Number 2, Braxton Irish. That's his first.
That one's going to be on Braxton Irish as he checked into the ball game. He's just a sophomore. Making sure nobody else checked in. Nope. So it looked like Kirkpatrick took the bench, and Kirkpatrick's now checking back in to replace Pauly.
Number 34.
There's Jasmine Tanner checks back into the ball game to replace Cole Youngblood for the Titans. 23-11. Jace Midget looking to extend the lead. Shot no good. Here's Kirkpatrick with the rebound. Flips it over to Peters. That's Wytrack with it now. Back over to Peters. He'll drive in the lane. His shot's no good. There's Kirkpatrick for the rebound. His shot is no good, but he does draw the foul.
First team second.
He'll go to the line.
Two shots.
And foul's going to go against Landon Midget. His first, team second.
Second in for the Titans will be number 42.
Stover checks back in the ball game. Jace Midget will take a seat. Smiley kind of working his bench out here a little bit. Like I said, I cannot say words tonight. It's the long, winding hours of the school day that are torturous among the human body. If any of my teachers are listening, I'm so sorry. Here's Stover with it now. Gets it over to Ungenhauer. Now back to Tanner. Tanner drives in. Shot no good. Kirkpatrick comes down with the rebound. And he'll flip it over to Peters as he comes up. There's the three from Smith. Shot no good. Ungenhauer comes down with it. Long pass across the court from Stover, and he tips it out. Nearly went out of bounds, but landed in the hands of Jasmine Tanner. Flips it over to Hamilton, and his shot's up and good. Pretend like that's how it was drawn up, right? There's the, okay. Well, I guess you can just take a three and make it from anywhere. There's the three from Wytrack. He gets it to go. There's Midget with it now. Excuse me, that was Ungenhauer. Over to Stover, and Stover's floater's up and good. Now Titans are kind of cooking on all cylinders. Every possession they're making a basket. Lead it by 11, 27-16. Here in this one, here's Peters. Midget on top of him. Flips it over to Wytrack. His jumper in the lane. Shot no good. Stover up for the easy rebound. Flips it over to Hamilton. And Brett will go to the line to shoot two off the foul. Shot was no good.
Foul's on St. Paul.
They're going to call that one on number 14.
That's it.
Smith.
Teammate.
Oh, Guess it was his second. I had him for 3. Oh, well.
Correct. Hamilton.
Wonder who I counted his other foul against. I had him for 3. Whoops.
Checking in for St. Paul, will be number 20, Dylan Polly. And checking in for the Titans will be number
Dylan Pauly will check back into the ball game. And along with Matt Kirk, as Midget will take a seat. Landon Midget, that is. And Smith for the Indians will take a seat.
Titans will be number 22, Cole Minor.
Cole Minor will also check back in, and Hamilton will sit 28-16. After Brett made his free throws. Here's Peters with it now. Gets it over to Irish. And stepped out of bounds. Ball will go back to the Titans. 28-16, a 12-point lead. Here's Minor with it. Flips it over to Kirk. Now back to Stover. Over to Ungenhauer. Ungenhauer trapped in the lane. Tried to pass it over to Minor and went off his hands and into the student section. Ball will go back to the Indians. Inbound it from the far right corner. Couldn't see it over the student section's heads. There's Peters with it now. Flips it over to Wytrack. Wytrack, long 2, no good. Ungenhauer comes down with the board. Takes off like a jet up the court, and his little layup pass is good. Or layup shot, excuse me. 4 points in the fourth quarter for second quarter, excuse me. Like I said, words are just not coming to me tonight, folks. For Ungenhauer, here's Peters. Peters going to drive in, and his shot's up and good.
Peters for
First bucket of the second quarter for him, as Ungenhauer will bring it across the timeline and reset things here. Still a 12-point lead, 30-18. Stover, pass up to Kirk. Puts it over to Tanner. Tanner, a little jump shot in the lane, no good. Or more likely on the elbow. Peters brings it across. Gets it over to Wytrack. Flip it over back to Peters. It's time from a different corner. Can't find anywhere to go, but gets it back out to Wytrack. Now that was Irish with it. Back to Peters. He's trying to shake the defender a little bit there. Can't do it. Minor wouldn't budge. And there's a travel on Peters as he was trying to pass it inside to Kirkpatrick. Took a few too many steps and walked with it.
12, Cole Youngblood. And number 30, Brett Hamilton.
Cole Youngblood will check in, and along with Brett Hamilton. As Tanner and Ungenhauer sit down, take a breather. 2:49 to go, first half. There's Youngblood with it, gets it over to Kirk, back to Minor. Minor feeds inside to Hamilton. Hamilton goes up, shot no good, and lands in the hands of Peters for the rebound. Howard waited to get a little bit of a better look there, but understands scoring points hard here. There's the 3 from Wytrack, no good, and it's a blocking foul called. Should be on Pauly against Hamilton.
Foul on St. Paul, number 20, Dylan Polly.
And it
That's
is.
his second, team 9.
It's his second foul, team 9.
For St. Paul, be number 12, Riley Hitt.
Since Titans are in the bonus, every foul will result in a free throw. 1 foul away from the double. And the free throw, no good. So that's Wytrack with it. Gets it over to Peters. He'll take the 3 from the wing. Rolls in and out. Gets it over to Hamilton now off the rebound. Flips it over to Minor. Now back to Hamilton on the right wing. Gets it over to Kirk on the left wing. Now I'll flip it over top of the key to Minor. Back to Hamilton. He'll try the 3. No good. Stover tried to get the rebound, and a little toss up there and a pushing foul assuming on Youngblood.
Fouls on this number 12, Cole Youngblood.
And it
That's
is.
his first team third. Checking in for
His first team third. Only with 3 fouls here in the first half. Not a bad job at all. Kind of what we would have liked to see against the Girard Trojans. And they've been better from the free throw line tonight already. So improvements have been made, I would say, tonight, which is always nice to see in this team. Because they've got some big games coming up down the stretch. You've got Baxter on Friday. You've got the Lancer Classic, hoping to win that one coming up next week, that tournament at Southeast. And then we've got immediately coming after the Lancer Classic, Galena. And that's always a tough one. Cole Youngblood steals that one from the pass from Peters to whoever that was, number 12, Riley Vitt. And Youngblood's basket's up and good. There's Wytrack with it now. Gets it back to Peters. Peters near the corner. Flips it over to Wytrack. And that pass tipped out of there by Midget and Youngblood. Youngblood comes down with the steal. Flips it over to Minor. Minor will bring it across inside for Stover. And the underneath pass from Minor to Ungenhauer goes out of bounds. And it'll go back to the Indians. So I wouldn't say the best ball handling so far tonight, but they certainly are scoring the points. Here's the 3 from Irish, no good, and Youngblood comes down with it. Slow things down a little. 42 seconds left to go, first half. Ball went out of bounds, stays with the Titans. Last touch by an Indian. That's Ungenhauer with it, over to Midget. Gets it over to Minor on the right wing. He'll go up and is fouled. Gonna shoot a pair at the foul stripe is Cole Minor.
Fouls on St. Paul.
That's gonna go against number 34, Kirkpatrick, his second.
2 line for the Titans.
Puts him in the double bonus. Now every foul for the next 31 seconds will result in 2. A good job by the Titan defense going up, getting the fouls. Should say offense, excuse me. Need to make a words aren't coming to me counter as Youngblood gets the putback up for 2. He's got 4 in the second quarter as Minor on defense trying to get it picked out of there between Wiatrek and Peters. Peters now lands it over to Vitt. Vitt will try a corner 3, shot no good, and Youngblood comes down with a rebound. 10 seconds to go, first half. Stover, Midget. Back to Stover with it. He'll try a 3, no good. Minor comes down with the rebound, puts it up at the buzzer, no good. Almost at the buzzer. Peters grabbed it right beforehand, but didn't matter as the buzzer rang out. So at the end of the first half, Titans are going to lead at 34-18 over the St. Paul Indians. Not a bad first half, but I'd like to see a little bit better ball handling coming out of the second half. We'll talk about that and give you some totals coming up as we kick off the second half of the Crossing Construction halftime show coming up. We'll be back in 2 minutes on Columbus Sports Live, your home for Titan Athletics. Back out here to Columbus High School. They're introducing the mini Titan basketball players here for the boys' game. We did the same with the girls in their halftime. I'll take a look at some point totals here tonight for this one. As well, I haven't gotten a chance to add them up. I've actually been watching the Galena Colgan games. It's an exciting one. Kind of a shocking one, to be honest. I figured Galena would be up by now. But anyway, looking at the point totals, it's 5, 7, 9, and 11 right now at the half for Colt Ungenhauer. 3 for Cole Miner, all of his in the first quarter. Brett with 7 points. Stover with 6 points. Cole Youngblood has 7 points, and that's going to round out the scoring so far tonight for the Titans. For the St. Paul Indians, they are led in scoring by Peters. He has, 5, 8, 10 points to round out their scoring. Wytrack has 3, and Smith has 3, and that's where they're going to get their points from tonight. I missed some 2 somewhere in there, probably from Irish, as I wrote him down not even knowing he was in the game. So we'll hopefully get some better point totals here between the games as we have interviews going on and lineups being wrote down. So it's a little tough to get the points at the start of the game, but the one thing I've got to say that the Titans need to correct is the handling of the ball. You know, we're kind of being lazy with it. We're kind of throwing it every which where we want to, and against any team you don't want to do that, but this is kind of one of those games where you can prepare for the games ahead. Like at Girard, we were not prepared, and they got up on us and they won the game because we just couldn't. We went lights out from the foul strike, and so Titans have been a lot better shooting percentage wise. They already have against a smaller team, but they already have almost all of the points that they scored in the Girard game here in the first half. They have 34 points. They've been held to below 60 all season long. They've gotten 59 twice, so they're hoping to get above 60 points here tonight. They can do it. They're at 34 right now as long as they stay in the game, keep their head in it, and keep going. You can see there the many Titan basketball players getting ready to high-five the boys as they come out of the locker room. 4 minutes, 52 seconds before the second half of play. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll check out from some scores from around the area and look at the schedule ahead as we head into tournament week. Coming up next week, we'll be back to Columbus High School, Columbus Sports Live in 2 minutes. Back out here to Columbus High School. Titan basketball team getting ready to come out here for the second half of play, being introduced by the mini Titan basketball players as they got their moment of recognition tonight during halftime. It's always a good night for the little kids to get their recognition. They do the same thing during football, so always nice for them to have their little moment on the big court. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at some scores from around the area tonight. The shocker, I'm going to hope to God the score hasn't changed because it's not going to be a shocker anymore, and I can't read it. It's either 35-37, Colgan with the lead, or 35-31, Galena with the lead, but it's a tough one. It's a close one from St. Mary's Colgan High School. A lot closer than what I thought it was going to be tonight. So that's a very exciting one. The scoreboard's a little bit off, but I completely understand. We were in their situation earlier tonight, so we're not going to make fuss about that. A close one between Riverton and Girard. It was 21-22 Riverton at the half, and that score has not changed much. It's 35-36 Riverton. So what I'm assuming's happened is as soon as somebody scored the ball, the other team has went around and done the exact same thing. So two intense matchups tonight from other sides. We kind of got the boring one of the night, 34-18. Nothing wrong with being ahead, but when compared to the tight games going on between Galena and Colgan and Girard and Riverton, nobody wants to watch ours. Unless you're a Titan fan, I guess. But if you're looking around the area for a matchup tonight, looking for some excitement, Stover gets the easy bucket off the timeout. Of course, we'd also like to mention that was our halftime show brought to you by Crossland Construction. Your career awaits with Crossland. Start with them right out of high school with their internship and apprenticeship programs. You can learn more at crossland.com/careers. Off the fast break, stolen by Cole Minor, and there's a 2 to start and a 30-second timeout by Coach Wytrack early here in this one. 7:32 to go in the third quarter. He didn't like what he saw coming out of the locker room. We'll take it with him. Titans lead it by 20 points. We'll be back to Columbus in 30. Back coming out of the timeout here, Columbus High School, Columbus, Kansas. Off the fast break, Minor point. Coach Wytrack didn't like what he saw coming out of the locker room, called timeout. Took 30 seconds for his team. It'll be Indian basketball as Wytrack gets it over to Peters, now top of the key. Gonna back out, set up a little bit, gets it over to Pauly, now over to Smith. Smith in the left corner gets it over to Wytrack. That was Kirkpatrick in the lane, and he was stripped out of there by Minor, and there's Ungenhauer with the layup in transition. First bucket for him of the second half, 40-18. Titans are running away with it here. Here's Wytrack with it. Kirkpatrick in the lane, can't find it, got to back out over to Smith. Smith dishes inside. I'm not sure if that was a shot or a pass, but it landed off the rim, and here's Ungenhauer with it, gets it over to Stover. Stover shot off the backboard, no good. They're going a little too fast. When you're up by when you're up by 22 points, time to slow things down a little bit and reset your offense. That three from Peters, no good. Almost a tie between Kirkpatrick and Stover, but it lands in the hands of Ungenhauer. And he'll bring it across the timeline. Time to slow it down and just... And a blocking foul is called. Remain Titan basketball. That's going to be on number 34, Zachary Kirkpatrick.
His third.
His third. First foul of the half for anybody. Ungenhauer set to inbound at baseline. Gets it over to Stover. Back over to Midget. Now over to Minor. He tried to pass it in Ungenhauer, and that was stripped out of there. Kind of deflected off some players. Wytrack ends up with it. Tried to pass it inside to Pauly. He saves it, but it lands in the hands of Seth Stover, and he'll bring it up the timeline. 40-18, 6 minutes left to go here, third quarter. Three from Midget, no good. Peters comes down with it. Peters being trapped in the lane, just throws up the shot. It's no good. Easy rebound from Miner. He'll bring it across, flips it over to Stover. Long pass underneath from Stover to Hamilton. Going to wave off any shot that would have been had. Fouls on the floor.
Fouls on St. Paul, number 34, Zachary Kirkpatrick.
That's going to go against Kirkpatrick. He picked up 2 quick ones just within the first few minutes of this ball game, or excuse me, for a few minutes of this second half. And he's now got 4 fouls, and he's in foul trouble. So he's coming out of the ball game. Coming in for him, I think, was Irish. That's Braxton Irish, number 2.
Fouls on.
And a blocking foul going to be called on
third.
Dylan Pauly, number 20. His third.
Number 42.
So you got Wytrack with 2, Smith with 3, Pauly with 3, Kirkpatrick with 4, and Irish with 1. As Stover makes the first of 2, hopefully. Nothing but net on the second.
Stover goes 2-2 line.
42-18. 24-point lead. And that one goes out of bounds. They're going to say last touch by a Titan. It'll stay here with the Indians. As Peters is set to inbound it. Gets it to Wytrack. He'll drive on the lane, flips it out to Irish. Now across to Peters. He'll try a 3, and he nails it.
Peters for 3.
First bucket of the second half for St. Paul is a Trey Peters 3. There's Brett Hamilton. He fakes it, drives in, gets his own rebound, and he'll put it back up. Shot no good, and Peters comes down with a rebound. Okay, they're going to get a foul there on Brett Hamilton, his second, team first of the half. Cole Youngblood will check back in, and Jasmine Tanner also will check in to replace Midget and Hamilton. Still be St. Paul basketball. They'll go back to the baseline where the ball originated.
For the Titans will be number 11.
Well, Matt Kirk checks in as well as Miner will sit the bench. So Smiley's pretty much played almost everybody tonight except for freshman Jet Tanner. But he's sitting varsity bench, so that's got to be a good sign for the future for him. There's Wytrack with it now on the wing. Drive in, pump it out to Irish. Now gets it back out to Smith. There's Trey Peters for 3, excuse me. Shot no good. There's Tanner with it. Gets it over to Kirk. Now over to Stover. In the corner for Ungenhauer. Gets it back out to Youngblood. Youngblood going to bring it to the top of the key. Reset. Gets it over to Kirk and Tanner. Tanner will drive baseline. Shot no good. He gets his own rebound. Put back no good. And Youngblood comes down with that one. And his putback's up and good. First bucket of the second half for Cole Youngblood, and Titans are just running away with it now. Slow it down, get the looks you need. Don't worry about driving in. There's the shot from Wytrack, no good. Youngblood comes down with it. He'll bring it across the timeline. There's Kirk with it now, gets it over to Tanner. Back over to Stover. There's Ungenhauer. There's the 3, no good. And Tanner just going to let it go out of bounds. As it'll stay here with the Titans, as I think it went off of Smith's hand.
And also checking in for the Titans will be number 1, Case.
Jace Midget checks into the ball game along with Riley Vitt for the Indians. Tanner with it in the corner. He'll drive in. Tried to get it inside to Youngblood, but goes out of bounds, and it'll go back to St. Paul. 44-21, 3:30 left to go, third quarter. It'll be Wytrack inbounding it to Peters. He'll let it roll a little bit and bring it across the timeline. As now the many Titan basketball players have cleared out, so has part of the crowd. I was wondering why it was very big for a non-conference matchup, and then I realized, yeah, mini Titan night. Here's Wytrack, gets it over to Peters. Peters top of the key, fakes it a couple times, takes the three, almost went in. That would have been almost a 25-footer. There's Midget with it, tried to piss it off to Tanner. Went out of bounds. For some reason, I blinked on Jaspin Tanner's name for about 3 seconds. I don't know why. Here's Peters with it now. There he is back at the top of the key. Same place that he tried to take a long three last time. Almost went in. Titans were guarding him well this time, but he drove in and got the two. I'm pretty sure he's got all of St. Paul's baskets here in the second half. 2:39 left to go in third quarter. Matt Kirk long two, no good. Youngblood gets the rebound, and his putback's up and good. That's Riley Vitt with it now. There's Peters. He tries a three. He's just taking the long ones from the wing. No good. And Youngblood will come down with the rebound. We'll slow things down. Turn it over to Tanner. Over to Stover with it now. Dump inside to Youngblood. His basket's up and good. 48. Hopefully now Titans in this fourth quarter can score another 12 points and maybe even some more here in the third and get it back up to a hopefully deficit of 60, break the hold that they've been held to this season. 59 twice, couldn't get it to 60 points a game.
And one.
So Youngblood's fouled, and he'll go to the line for the and one.
Foul on St. Paul, number 2, Braxton Irish. That's his second.
That's the second on Irish, team fourth.
Checking in for the Titans will be number 30, Grant Hamilton. Number 22, Cole Minor.
Hamilton and Minor will check back into the ball game. Tanner and Stover will sit. Dylan Pauly will check back in.
Youngblood.
As Irish is going to take a seat. Youngblood's and one, no good. Peters comes down with a rebound, 50-23. And he loses it in traffic, but they're going to call a foul.
Foul on Columbus, number 11, Matt.
That'll go against Matt Kirk, his first.
First. Second.
Team second, so split the fouls here. St. Paul with 4, Titans with 2. Long three from Smith, no good. Youngblood there with it. He's trying to dunk it there. He's trying to get with it. He almost did it at against Cherryvale.
Wytrick for 3.
And there was the three from Wytrick, his first points of the second half. There's Hamilton with it now, gets it over to Minor. There's a pushing foul. They're going to wave off the shot. So Brett will inbound at baseline.
Foul on St. Paul, number 20, Dylan Pauly.
It'll be Pauly's fourth foul. Now 2 players for the Indians in foul trouble. And there's Brett Hamilton. His shot's up and good. I think that's his first points of the second half. 52-26. Clock's ticking below a minute. 48 seconds left to go third quarter, and St. Paul throws it away. Last one off a Titan, though, so I think that was Minor trying to save it, so it'll say St. Paul basketball. Stay St. Paul basketball, that is. So Wytrick inbounds it to Peters in the backcourt. Working on Minor here near the 25-foot line. Passes it inside to, well, that was number 12, Vitt. And it went out of bounds from there, and ball will go back to the Titans as Chase Midget checks it into Brett Hamilton. Hamilton dishes it underneath to Youngblood. Youngblood passed up the layup. Brett doesn't get the basket to go.
Dylan Pauly.
But Dylan Pauly just fouled out.
That's his 5th.
So Kirkpatrick, who also has 4 fouls, will have to check back into the ball game.
For 34, Zachary Kirkpatrick. To the line for the Titans.
And if he fouls out, I think they're going to have to dress out another player. They've got 3 others that haven't hit the floor tonight on the bench. I'm assuming they're JV or C team. Brett's first shot up and good. Cole Tungenhauer checks back in for the Titans, Cole Youngblood will sit, take a breather as he's had one heck of a third quarter tonight. And Brett goes 2 for 2. He's got 4 in the third. There's Wytrack with it now. Gets it inside to Kirkpatrick. He nearly loses it, but saves it before going out of bounds. Indians reset. There's the pass inside to Kirkpatrick. His shot no good, and Hamilton comes down with it. Hamilton's going to drive in the lane. His shot's no good. That'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. Titans lead at 54-26. So let's hope that they can break their deficit of below 60 points here tonight. They got to score 6. They got to score 6. Let's hope. We can only pray. We'll be back here to Columbus High School after the timeout, or excuse me, after the quarter break in 30 seconds. Back out here to Columbus High School. 54-26 as we round out the nightcap here of this Titan St. Paul doubleheader. The girls won earlier 45-42. Yep, 45-42 in a close game that went down to the final second. I'm still going to refresh this game, this Colgan and Galena game. They look like they were about to pull away with it here, and they have 48-38 now. Galena is up. And they've just scored another one, 50-38 now. Galena's up by 12 after Colgan led in the third quarter, so Galena's trying to run away with it here. Here's the pass from Miner to Ungenhauer, and his shot's up and good. First bucket of the fourth quarter goes to him. 56-26. That was Midget with it. Gets it over to Miner. Over to Ungenhauer now, top of the key. Gets it back to Midget. Titan's going to slow things down. Gets it now over to Ungenhauer. Back to Hamilton. That was top of the key. Hamilton now over to Kirk on the right wing. Back over to Ungenhauer inside. He tries to go up. Shot no good. He does get his own rebound, and shot will not go, but he will be fouled going up. Titans are in the bonus, so every foul will result in a shooting situation.
Team 7 to the line for the Titans to shoot 2 shots. Be number 22, Cole Miner.
Second on Peters, team 7. Miner can't get the first one to fall. Can't get the second one either. Miner goes 0 for 2. Kirkpatrick came down with the rebound as Peters flipped it over to Wytrack. Long pass that was intended for Smith, picked off by Miner. Got it over to Ungenhauer and got the dunk. All right, now they just need 2 points to get it to 60. That's the main goal here tonight at this point with 5:54 left to go in the fourth quarter. There's Peters, drives in the lane. He walked with it, but no call. In fact, they're going to say he got fouled in the lane. And he'll go to the foul stripe.
35.
Call that one on Midget.
That's his second, team third. To the line for St. Paul.
Midget's second,
Shots will be number 3.
team third.
Peters. Checking in for the Titans will be number 24, Jasmine Tanner. Number 42, Seth Stover. And number 12, Cole Youngblood.
And Peters makes his free throw. First bucket for him, 58-27. 31-point ball game. There's Miner with it over to Tanner. And that one knocked out of there by Peters. I'm not sure what happened there, but Titans lost the ball. Gets it over to Weitrack now. Over to Peters in the corner. He'll try a three. No good. And that one tipped around. Lands in the hands of Cole Miner underneath to Cole Youngblood. And I guess he got it over to Kirk. I didn't see that, but there's Tanner. He'll try a three from the wing. No good. Lands in the hands of Weitrack. That's over to Peters, and he travels in the corner.
Checking in for the Titans will be number 1, Jace Midget. And number 3, Jet Tanner.
Jet Tanner will make his first appearance here in the ball game alongside Jace Midget. That's not his first appearance, but he's back in. Here's Tanner with it now. He'll drive in, gets kind of caught in there, nearly stolen away by Weitrack, but lands in Jace Midget's hands. There's Jet Tanner with it. Got to preface the name now because the two of them are in the game. Jet Tanner with it now, left wing. Back out a little, gets it over to Jace Midget. Now over to Jaspin Tanner. Fakes the three. Jace Midget will drive in. Shot no good. Youngblood there for the rebound. And he puts it up and in. There we go. Now we broke the 60-point deficit. Big goal tonight. There's Weitrack with it now. Gets it over to Peters. Peters gets it outside to Vitt. Who is that with it? Number 14, Smith with it. Gets it back to Peters. Peters will drive in the lane, put up the shot, no good. There's Youngblood. He'll come down with it, gets it over to Jace Midget. He'll try a three, way short, no good, but Tanner there for the rebound. He'll drive baseline, back out a little, and reset near the half-court mark. There's Kirk with it. Back over to Tanner. Or excuse me, Midget. There's Tanner. He'll try a three again. No good. Peters comes down with a rebound. He'll pull it up to 0-2 left to go in this one. Shot no good. Here's Jet Tanner with it, and he'll bring it up the timeline. He'll drive into the lane and loses it off the dribble, and it lands in the hands of Peters. Peters will reset, kind of back out near the corner. There's the big fella, Kirkpatrick. Shot's no good, but he is fouled, and we do have a running clock, so this one will be over in 1 minute and 32 seconds. Regardless.
That's his second team fourth. 2 line and 2 shots for St. Paul, the number 34, Zachary Kirkpatrick.
First shot's no good.
Checking in for St. Paul, the number 2, Braxton Irish.
Second one rolls out no good as Jet Tanner comes out with the rebound, flips it over to Jaspin Tanner as we tick under 1 minute here to wrap up this one. That was Jace Midget with it, gets it over to Jaspin Tanner, and he throws it away straight into the Indians defense. Here's Peters with it now, 33 seconds. And that pass to Weitrack, lost it, and Jet Tanner comes down with it. Don't lose the dribble. He'll go up. Shots up and good.
Tanner for
Jet Tanner gets 2. There's Peters with it. His shot no good, and Jasper Tanner will come down with it and dribbler out here from Columbus High School. Titans will finish the nightcap off 62-27 over the St. Paul Indians.
Final score, St. Paul Indians.
Titans complete the doubleheader here tonight with the girls winning 45-42 and the boys winning 62-27. We'll be back from Titan Fieldhouse on Friday night as the Titans take off the Baxter Springs Lions. Should be an easy girls game, but these boys are going to have to work for that win as Baxter Springs Lions have been on a decent streak this year. Already won double the games that they won in the entirety of last year, so they're on a much better streak, just coming off a win at Colgan. So we'll update you on some scores from around the area coming up and bring you some point totals from tonight's game, and then we'll wrap this one out, hopefully, with an interview from Coach Smiley coming up here in the next few minutes. We'll be back in 2 minutes here from Columbus High School to kick off our post-game show on Columbus Sports Live. All right, everybody, 8:53 the time now as we wrap up the nightcap here from Columbus High School as the Titans take a big win tonight. 62-27 over the St. Paul Indians. Finally broke that 60-point mark that they've been wanting to all season long. We're held down to just 40 against Girard. In fact, we're going to talk about those scores coming up here in just a minute. Let's talk about the scores from this game right now. Leading scorers tonight for the Titans are Cole Youngblood and Cole Tungenhauer. They tied it at 17 tonight. Cole Youngblood kind of started off small, only had 7 by the end of the first half. Not a bad score, but he came up big in the third quarter, 20 or not 20, but 8 points. I was reading the twos, and then my mind all of a sudden went to 20 because of the 27 in the St. Paul score. Weird how my mind works when I'm tired, and it's 8:54, and I've been talking the whole night. So he ends it with 17. Cole Tungenhauer had a pretty distributed night tonight. He had 11 at the break at the half, and then he came up with another 6 in there somehow, brought up 17 points. On top of that, we had Brett Hamilton tonight with 11 points. He had 7 in the first half, rounded it out with another 4 in the third quarter. And I know he's been trying to run the offensive game a lot this year, been trying to get into the bucket, drive into the paint, and get some foul calls his way. And he's done that pretty well so far this season, so we hope for more success coming from him. Seth Stover had 10 points tonight as well, had 6 at the half, and then ended another 4 points in the third quarter. And then, of course, Jet Tanner had his nice little bucket tonight with a 2-pointer. So not a bad night at all for the Titans. 62 points, 62 to 27. I think we could have handled the ball a little bit better, especially in that first half. We were just kind of being sloppy with it, letting it go loose wherever we felt like it. Not what you want to do against a team where, no offense to St. Paul, this is kind of a game for the Titans where they could really reset and try some stuff and fix a lot of their mistakes that they made last week against Girard. That game was not the best performance. I was hoping for a lot better of a game. We'll talk to Coach Smiley about that, kind of what the team talked about. We'll talk about Christmas break with him as well, kind of like what we did at Coach Lee. I know he hates the question about the player of the game, but we're trying to get in everybody as the year goes along. So hopefully we'll get him up here. If he forgets, that's fine too. I'll remind him before the Baxter game. And then, he could just forget the rest of the season if he wanted to be honest with you. As far as St. Paul goes for their score totals tonight, Trey Peters knocks it out with 16 points. Titans did a real good job of containing him in the second half. He had 10 in the first and then only made another 6 points in the second half, and he was their leading scorer. And he was really the only one moving the ball around on the court and really the only one driving in. So props to him tonight for the St. Paul Indians, but also props to the Titans for containing him and realizing that he was going to be a threat and fixing what he liked to do, kind of stopping what he liked to do, which was really drive in, playing good defense there in the second half. Wytrack had 6 points. He knocked down a 3 in the second quarter and another 3 in the third. And then Smith, that would be Vincent Smith, he also had 3. He knocked down 1 in the first, and that rounded out the scoring tonight for the Indians. I'm sure I missed a bucket somewhere in there. These are unofficial stats. These are just rounded out to what I catch and what I don't catch. But not a bad night tonight for the Titans. So they come off of a loss to Girard, and they're back up tonight. Probably shouldn't have closed my stat book. Back up tonight with a win. They moved to 6-1 on the season. The girls moved to 3-4, hoping to get to 4-4 with a win, which they should, over the Baxter Springs Lions coming up on Friday night. The Titans will also be taking on the Baxter Springs Lions, the CNC doubleheader. The Lions coming off, I'm not sure if they played a game tonight, but on Friday night, they played the Colgan Panthers and won that one. And Colgan actually gave Galena a run for their money tonight. I'm not sure of the final score, but I'm pretty sure Galena came back and won it, like we said. Colgan was leading at the half, and we said that Galena's a second half team, and they have the opportunity to come back and win that one, and they certainly did. So we'll check those scores once we come back from the break, and hopefully we'll talk to Coach Smiley. We'll take our second break of the postgame show and come back and look at some scores from around the area and look at the schedule heading down for the rest of the season coming up here in 2 minutes. Once again here, 9 o'clock, as we continue on here with our post-game show. We'll tell you about some final scores tonight coming up from around the area, as I really don't want to see this score because it looks so good for such a long time. 58-41 or 47 tonight, Galena versus Colgan. One of their closer games. I will say that. Galena has been held to a certain number of points into each game, which is either going to make them a very angry team or it's going to make them a very hot team. Oh, well, we'll talk about this coming up here in just a second. I'm not going to keep you up here for too long. We're testing out a new mic. Can you hear me just fine?
Yeah, I got you.
Awesome. All right. So, joined now by the head coach of the Titan boys, Jerry Smiley. Nice win tonight, Coach, 62-27 over the St. Paul Indians. Been a while since we talked to you. This is the Galena-Colgan game.
Is that 50-41 or
It's 58-41, but at the half, Galena was down. So I was like, Colgan's giving them a run for their money
Yeah,
tonight.
well, good job for Coach over there. I know he was a little injured first time we played each other.
Mhm.
And he had a pretty good game on Tuesday night, and so glad to see the Panthers getting healthy. Good luck to them.
Absolutely. Well, taking a look at this game tonight, Titans are led in scoring by Colt Ungenhauer with, unofficially, 17. Cole Youngblood with 17. He came up big in that third quarter. And Seth Stover and Brett Hamilton with 11 and 10 as well. And then Jet Tanner had a point in there in the fourth quarter as well to get his time on the varsity court. Kind of talk about what you guys talked about at halftime in this one and how you stopped, especially that Trey Peters kid, as he had quite a bit of points there in the first half, and you only limited him to 6 in the second.
Yeah, 16 total for him. We kind of went over what they were doing with the dribble handoffs up top around the 3-point line and what we were going to do, whether it was at that area or a little further out. So we discussed how to handle him. I think they got us on a couple false switches. Communication wasn't always consistent, so we really emphasized that going in the second half. That way he could not get open shots. But he played hard tonight, and so did all of the players over at St. Paul, and they fought. I was impressed with the way they came out in the first half and played a good half. So
Oh yeah, I was surprised too. They had us. They had a run. They were giving us a run for our money there in the first half of the
yeah,
first half of the ball game. Been a while since we've talked to you. You know, we haven't talked to you since Cherryvale on the 13th. So Christmas break has happened. I guess I'll ask you about that. You got a win over Riverton before the break, and how was Christmas break? How was practice? And did you guys enjoy the time off?
I think our guys enjoyed it. I kind of gave them one instruction after the Riverton victory. You got about 12 days here where nothing's happening basketball wise, so make sure you all get sick and get that out of the way
There you
because
go.
we were dealing with a few sicknesses leading up to that week. We didn't have Mac that whole week. We didn't have him against Riverton and missed him against, I believe, Cherryville was before Riverton also. So we didn't want any, and Jet was dealing with illnesses. So I figured Jasmine was going to happen soon, and then after that, of course, it snowballed. So told them all to enjoy the break with their families. Those are times in their lives when you look back and you don't really remember them or value them as much as you do when you get older. And so I just wanted to deliver that message to them. So we had a lot of time off, had a couple practices, did our usual team breakfast right around the New Year's, and then we had some good practices leading up to Girard, which, of course, stumbled on Friday, but it's on to Baxter.
Yep, absolutely. Before we get to Baxter, we do want to talk about Girard a little bit. The first loss of the season, 50-40. It was a tight-knit game pretty much the whole way. It was just we missed a few from the
Right.
free throw line. Kind of how did you address that afterwards, and what did you work on before this game?
Well, the message was in locker room is solutions. I wanted guys to bring solutions to make sure that when we're in a tight game against a very good team, and I would say one of the top teams of our league, obviously they've been there for multiple seasons. But last year it was the same sort of scenario, and they graduated a lot of players, and we have everybody back. So there's some concern there on our end where we should have expected exactly what we saw game plan wise. They're going to change a lot defenses. They're going to cut without the ball, and we defended a lot of those cuts, but they made some big shots in the fourth. Of course, the foul line was not good. They had a lot of offensive rebounds, which we were unhappy about. So they did little things like they always do. They take care of it. They get to the glass, and they hustle. So that's what it takes to be a top team in this league, and they've been doing it for several years now. So that's what we addressed. We talked about it. Moving forward, hopefully we can get to that point.
Absolutely, and they're one of the teams just with all the CNC that's going to be at Girard in that Class 3A
Sure.
sub-state coming up in February and March. So hopefully Titans can get the corrections that we need, and we'll hopefully have a better game around
early
when we play 'em
March, late
again.
February. Yeah.
I don't know when we play them again, but it'll be a home game, so that's good.
Yep.
Now addressing to Baxter, the Lions are having a much better season this year. They've doubled their wins that they got last year. They had 3 last year, and I think they're already 6 or something like that. So kind of what's the attitude going into this home game on Friday night against the Baxter Springs Lions?
Well, I think you respect the fact that what you just mentioned is true, and they've been kind of young for the last 2 seasons, but they've been coming along with some of their now seniors and juniors that they've been taking their licks. Last couple of years with the other teams in the CNC, who we play. It's always on every gym when you walk in. So Baxter's been building for this season. So they got some talent. They got some guys that can score, and the defensively they can keep teams off the glass and limit to one shots. I know frustratingly they did that to us a couple times last year where, for a half it was real tight. And so that's going to be the message with the guys, and they understand. I mean, they were aware before the season started that everybody in this league is somebody that gives us a game. And, Baxter's no different.
Absolutely, and I know you hate the question, but I'm just going to get it out of the way. If you could give the nod to a player, either looking at stats or looking at attitudes, who was your key player tonight?
I don't know. Did I give one to Blood yet? I don't know if I've given one to Blood, but I loved his energy on the offensive glass. He created and generated his points just with hustle. And coaches around the country just want guys that do that. And that was addressed in the locker room afterwards. If we can have all 10 members of our varsity basketball team give that sort of energy, then again, you go from a decent, good potential team to one of the greats. And that's been the message since Friday night's loss is we're not where we need to be, and to get there, give that type of effort and make the best of your minutes, and keep fighting, keep battling, and he really did a good job tonight. So I guess I'll go that direction since I've brought him up. All the other guys, team wise, it was a good victory tonight. I think everybody was able to get into the flow of the game. The minutes were pretty well spread out, and hopefully it shows up in the box score.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time, Coach, and we'll be back up here Friday night against the Baxter Springs Lions. A good win tonight, and we'll see you there.
Thank you, Carson.
Thank you. You just heard the voice of the head coach of the Columbus Titans, Jerry Smiley. We're going to go ahead and quickly update you on some scores from around the area and then get out of here tonight. 58, 41, 47, something like that, going to be the final score of this one, the Galena-Colgan game, the comeback there. This one was tense for a while, Girard and Riverton. We'll check out the final score of this one. And Riverton comes up with a 2-point victory against the Trojans, 47-49 in this one. So Rams complete the sweep.
Looks like you got a tenth of a second left on the clock, and they're doing something in the middle.
Oh, yeah, they do have like a tenth of a second left. Well, let's just go for. Oh, nope. Now they've got it back to 2.8, so that could be something.
Girard get the ball.
Let's find out here. Now it's at a point of a 9 second, and we've got players arguing. Coach is arguing with something.
Girard ball, 0.9.
And that's the way it finishes, so yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Rams complete the sweep over the Trojans tonight, and Titans complete the sweep over the St. Paul Indians. Will be back in action on the 13th against the Baxter Springs Lions. That'll wrap it up here from Titan Fieldhouse. Thanks for watching, and good night.